Um, Hello, welcome to Truth Runs Deep podcast. I'm Terryn,
I'm Kalli.
and we're here to talk about all things Law and Order, Fellowship, SVU, organized crime, fanfic writing, and more. And
Red.
today is a special day for multiple reasons, but
Multiple.
one, one, the podcast today is 2 years old. We've been doing this for 2 years, and that is crazy. Now we're still so thank you all for your love and support the past 2 years. I was gonna make something funny and short out of this, but we don't have time because we're living on a time crunch here.
So we're gonna be
Because
sappy instead. Thank you
yeah,
all. We love you.
yeah. Well, I might make something goofy later. We'll find out. But yeah, we're on a time crunch. I've done so much stuff the past 2 weeks. Uh,
So much. It's insane.
yes, yes. And then I'm going to go see Six on Wednesday. So that cuts out of our time to. I might make a vlog. I might make a vlog. I'm ready to take my camera. I'm gonna make a vlog. But anyway, that's all I got. I mean, also it's Danny Pino's birthday. Happy birthday to
Woohoo!
Danny on the day we're recording this
Legit.
anyway, which is
Like
April
today,
15th,
the day we're recording, April
which
15th,
is
is
yeah,
his birthday. It's the man is 50 and
yeah,
he looks good.
yep. I think that's it for now anyway.
Kelly's was the other day.
Kelly's birthday was Saturday, I think.
Yes.
Saturday.
A lot of
So
people like their
there's a
cast
lot of
of
them bunched
are
together.
like
So
April, August, October, this half of the month.
mhm.
This half of
So
the year. Oh my God.
yeah, very busy and very exciting. So that's all we really got for now. I don't think there's anything. We'll have more stuff when we get to the later show. But
Yeah.
for now,
Let me get to the other
we got to
shows.
get to work because we're on a tight schedule. So hold on. So I'm actually watching the end of the Mothership again because I'm gonna watch the whole episode again because I need to watch it again. But so where
Yeah, Taryn was
the
doing adult things while I was
I really was
watching.
I was doing adult things. I could not sit and watch the show, so I watched it later and then watched it again to make sure the second go around I absorbed it all into my skull. So at the beginning, it's called Family Ties. It's episode 9. Yeah, episode 9 of the season. It's called Family Ties. And I
I got
like
it.
didn't look at the notes anytime I watched it because the first time we read the notes while we're live watching and Kylie wrote the notes the first time I didn't want spoilers. So like I don't
Yes.
really none of these notes are
I had to make sure to try to get everything, and I probably still missed stuff because
but it's okay. It's fine. You can go watch the episode if you want all the nitty gritty. That's what that the show. So at the beginning, there's a woman. She's sworn in, and she says, "He doesn't know I'm here, does he?"
because
And
the
then
guy's like, yeah, you're here without counsel, and she's like, yeah, but I'm here on like one condition, like you keep this under wraps. And then she's like, she doesn't know I'm here, does he? And then transition to her dead body
mhm,
and her husband, who at first I thought was dead, but was not. Just
no,
really badly
yep,
beaten.
yes,
Um,
and
their names they're the Porter couple, and their names are Eileen and Tom,
mhm.
which apparently that's just the last name we're gonna use multiple times today.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're
We'll
right.
get to that, but we know that last name is not. Oh
Because
my God, has been mentioned before. I don't know what I'm saying.
everything
Um,
with it.
then we get Sean Riley looking, and then they're talking to the neighbor, and we
Mhm.
find out that Eileen worked for Congressman Richards, who like is apparently, you know,
Using
pretty
campaign funds for something.
important. But then we
Yeah.
find out that is from his mistress that he was using campaign funds to buy lavish things for himself, his wife, and the mistress.
Mhm.
Um, they go to talk to the congressman, and he's like, oh, like I think he mentioned something like he already like donated or something. He's like, yeah, we're not here about that. You need to come talk to us. And guy's like, nah, I'm not going to. He's like, look, if you don't want to come, and Riley's like, look, if you don't want to come voluntarily, we'll set you up with a pair of our silver bracelets.
And you're like,
And he
yeah,
pulls
they're
out
not
the
very fun.
like, fine. And I missed a bunch of stuff here.
I don't know what it was. So.
It was basically like, him talking about what he did with the money and talking about Eileen and whatnot. Um, I was not paying attention.
Mm.
Um,
You don't really know what I mean.
we then find out that Eileen was confronted the other night or so or at another time by her drunk brother. And then we find out that her husband is in a medically induced coma due to a brain bleed due to what happened. Um, they talked to her brother and how like the brother says that she had been volunteering at a homeless shelter and even being nice enough to let the homeless people stay in her apartment on occasion. And her brother was like, I warned her that was a bad idea, but she had too good of a heart. So they go to talk to a guy in the homeless shelter, and he is like shocked and devastated that Eileen is gone. Um, and then we find out he owed her money, and she like took some 20s from her purse, and he wanted to return it, but now he can't. And he is like, "Oh, is are they all okay?"
Okay.
And they're like, "Well, Eileen's dead. Tom's in a coma." And he's like, "Okay, but what about the other woman?" And the
And
guy
you're like,
and
mm,
Sean and Riley are like, "What do you mean?" She's like, the guy's like, "Oh, there's a woman that stays in the guest room. Like, is she okay?" So now we have a mystery third person.
mm,
They do some research and they've to like what the porters have been looking up, and they find the porters unfortunately could not have children on their own. So they had to look into means of other means of
yeah.
fertility to do it. And they found a family service counselor. They go talk to the family service counselor, and the family service counselor said he gave them a surrogate from Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Do not know how legal this is, but
Probably not. But
probably not. Also, we're getting into dangerous territory now with the fact that she's from Ukraine.
yeah, that's where it's like,
Um, yeah, so yeah, she's holding their baby. She's about she's literally about to give birth. She's about to pop.
mm-hmm.
And they go talk to this other couple who had been um who now was paying $250,000
No,
to
Lord.
have this surrogate be their surrogate, not knowing that the baby was already somebody else's and promised to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then Shaw and Riley find her, and she goes to try to run away, and they're both like, "Don't!
Don't do that.
You're
Just
gonna
don't
hurt
do
yourself. Please don't." Like, I'm like, really? Are we gonna have a chase scene with a pregnant woman? No, because they like, try to stop her, and she starts having like a panic attack. And it's basically like, stop, my baby, like you need to call an ambulance. I'm about to give birth. Which um we find out later when Sam is doing arraignment that she did give birth 4 days ago. And the
that.
baby
Mm-hmm.
has been in Rikers with her. Um, and then Sam goes to continue that, yeah, she was a surrogate for the Porters, but then ended up selling their baby to a couple who could pay more.
That's wild.
Um,
Oh,
then, they're talking to the defense attorney and everything. The defense attorney's talking to her and basically like, how are you doing this to another woman? And Sam's like, she sold somebody else's baby. And then
word.
the
That's
defense
pretty,
attorney's like,
pretty
have
messed up.
some compassion, Sam. And I want to be like, shut up. Sam has so
Sam has
much
plenty of
compassion.
compassion, but no, I don't know if we can say that for that. Like taking someone's baby is pretty bad.
Yeah,
Not,
no,
not,
I
not.
don't have compassion for this. Like at first I did when she was scared and everything.
And I'm like, I don't have any.
And then when I found out that she sold the baby to another family, I was like, forget about it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the kicker. We'll get to that.
And,
Um, so then the defense attorney calls Chambers and they're talking to the judge and she's trying to get the murder weapon out, which was a hammer that they found in the trash
yeah.
at the residence with their blood on it.
Mm.
And the defense
For some
attorney,
reason,
the
I
defense's
have it out.
argument is that uh it's either Dorina? Yeah, Dorina, I think. Dorina lived there and did not know that her belongings were being looked through. So basically,
Yeah,
it was
they said
a
it's a
validation
legal search and
of,
seizure. So,
of the Fourth Amendment and, safe
yeah,
searches,
yeah,
unwarranted searches. And then,
yeah.
Nolan and Sam are basically like,
What?
it was in the trash.
Yeah,
We're
but the
allowed to
trash is
look
fair
through
game.
the trash.
Apparently, you can.
And the judge is like, yeah, well, that is a valid point. Like, we're kind of leaning towards breaking somebody's privacy. So, yeah, the hammer's out. But
Mm,
we didn't even know about this woman when they didn't even know about this woman when they started the investigation. But anyway, now the murder weapon is out, which basically puts them back at square one.
yeah,
Um, and then we get some personal information in regards to why this adoption and surrogacy thing is like so it's personal and it's also like important.
mm,
Um, we find out that Baxter, first of all, has a sister,
mm.
and we find out that Baxter's sister adopted a baby from China. Aww, that's really sweet. Also, now I want to see this baby.
Mm.
Show me the pictures, y'all. Show us the pictures. So that's really sweet. Um, then we find out that the husband miraculously survived the brain bleed
Yeah,
and is awake from the coma and is now able to testify. And so he testified that Arlene had unfortunately had childhood cancer, which has caused her to not be able to have children in her adult life. And that, he never judged her for it. He loved her. And so they found this service counselor who gave him a way to have children. And they
yeah,
paid a good amount of money for it. But apparently wasn't enough, but we'll get to that. And basically, um, we also find out that he has not seen his child since she was born.
yeah.
And he basically, like, part of his testimony is he turns to, how do I say it? Is it Doriana? I think, yeah.
I think so.
Doriana. And is basically like, please, I just want to see my daughter. And the
Yeah,
judge has to,
same.
like, strike it because basically the jury can't hear that, even though, like, it's basically all the guy wants at this point. I
And he
mean,
wants
yes,
his
he wants
child.
just a wife, but he also wants the child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then we find out from I forget who testified to this, but we find out that Doriana had a husband and a young son back in Ukraine that were unfortunately killed
Yeah.
in the attacks in Russia and Ukraine that are still unfortunately going on. Um, and then basically had to flee to America to avoid this after losing
And,
her house and her family.
yeah, losing everything.
And it was, but then Nolan was like, it was 8 separate and distinct attacks on these people.
Yeah.
And then the defense attorney is like, yeah, because she was experiencing PTSD and was thinking that she was getting attacked again.
Mm-hmm.
Because defense attorney was like, did you ever asking Tom, did you ever raise your voice with her? Did you scare
Yeah.
her, etc.? And so then they changed her plea to not
Not
guilty,
guilty by reason of insanity.
mental insanity due to PTSD from the attacks she experienced back home.
Mm-hmm.
They even have somebody testify to that and go on to say that her husband was
Yeah.
decapitated right in front
Yeah.
of her, and her infant son was killed by mortar when the house was exploded
Destroyed.
and destroyed. So, yeah, you start feeling some sympathy for her. It's like, oh my gosh. And then we get a conversation between Sam and Nolan and Baxter. Basically, like, what do we do now? And Sam's like, I understand what she's going through. My parents and my grandparents fled Lebanon during the Civil War. Um, like I get what it's like to have fear due to these attacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then they're like, Baxter's like, okay, try to give her a deal. Like now the jury has heard this, like God knows how we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get past this. Well, everything's okay until and Nolan gives like a generous deal
Yeah.
until we find
15
out,
years.
and this is where the sympathy goes bye-bye. We find out that Doriana had already signed the birth certificate for the baby because, you know, the doctor needed somebody to sign it. She was there. Problem is,
Mm-hmm.
she was there alone. So,
Mm-hmm.
Tom, even though it is his child, currently has no
No
custody over
pulling
his
over.
own child because he was not there when the birth certificate was signed. So, the defense attorney is like, no, we're not gonna do like 15 years. And they
25.
counter 5 years.
And you can have a baby.
And in
Should be able
exchange,
to.
the father gets to keep her baby. Hold
You're
the
like,
phone. Like the Nolan or Simon, like,
you're like, no.
you killed 2
You did.
people. And
Yeah.
now
You,
you're withholding the baby?
yeah. And they're
Hell
like,
no. I was like, and they're like, no, no deal. Moving on. And they leave. And you can see Doriana shaking. And I'm like,
well, well, we got
well, you could, out of the goodness of your own heart, gave up the baby. You
not like
used
it's
it as a
benefiting you.
bargaining
Going to
chip.
jail anyway.
Basically said, okay, I don't want to go to jail for a long time. 5 years. That's it. And if you do that, I will give you the baby. You can't use the baby as a
Right.
damn bargaining chip. How
Exactly.
dare you?
The baby is not a bargain.
Um, well, they bring up the deal to the dad, and he's basically like, what? Like he's in shock. Like
Yeah.
they're having the scene in the nursery that he set up. They set
Yeah.
up. their daughter
for this. Yeah. You can't
that
even
he
have this.
hasn't even used yet because she's in Riker's nursery or whatever. Um, and basically at the end of the conversation, he's like, just let me have my daughter. Well, nope, no deal. Trail needs to continue. But then Nolan is like, I can't, I can't cross examine her. It's gonna look like I'm berating her with all of the PTSD that she has.
Mhm.
And, the fact that she just gave birth, etc., etc., etc. And Baxter's like, okay, well, we have an
And,
alternative to that.
yeah, like, let Sam do it.
Let Sam do it. And Sam's like,
Sam's
is it because I'm a woman?
like, well,
Like, is it legit that the only reason you want me to do this? And he's like, no, because you have similar insights in regards to the the war torn countries and PTSD and everything,
mhm.
etc.
Like,
And then, I was like, oh, that's actually, meaningful. That's actually kind of a nice thing.
pretty
And
soft.
he ruins it by saying, you're part of the team, you need to step up. It's like,
You know, like,
excuse me?
has she not already been part
How is she not?
of
How
it?
or was she not already done that? Like, what the hell? So, for the actually not the first time, but it's been a while, where Sam is first chair and she is doing the cross. And you can tell she's nervous. She's asking, bare minimum questions, soft questions, basically. And then Nolan is like, stands up, basically glares at her and is like, ask for a recess now. She does. She no, actually says, ask for a recess. Do it now. It's like, damn, what's going on? Well, they go in the hallway, and basically Nolan is like, what are you doing? You're giving all these softball questions. And Sam
Mhm.
is like, I'm torn. I'm sorry.
That's for the SV later on, but that's not what I'm gonna say. But I was just need to say that. Anyway, anywho, um, we're very excited. We'll talk about that when we get to SV. But where were we? Oh, Sam tells this story where she talks about how the power went out, and so her was her dad or grandparent, grand or granddad, can't remember, but basically I think it's her
Oh
dad, like
yeah, she's like, I'm
instinctively
sorry,
like
this is personal for me.
packs up everything, like they have to leave.
Yeah,
But then the
because
power comes on, but halfway to Canada, which Canada is like 4 hours ish, maybe less. I think we looked this up
yeah,
for a
like,
reason or something.
everything turns dark and he's thinking, another attack, another bomb, something. He needs to get his family to safety.
Hmm.
And then Nolan's like, look, I get it, but you and I serve at the pleasure of the district attorney. And you could tell he's like, yeah, I'm not thrilled with that, but it's their job.
Hmm.
You can tell they're both missing Jack.
Yeah, but they gotta do
Uh,
what they got to do. So
and then Nolan is like, you have two choices. Tender, tender your resignation or rise to the occasion. And it's like, can you can both of you just shut up and kiss already? Like, enough with the fighting.
we don't I don't want any angst.
No more angst. Knock it
No more
off.
angst. We have enough angst in our lives. We don't need more.
Yeah, really. I have enough angst in my real life. I don't need any more in my um
You know.
favorite TV show life. Well,
Mhm.
Sam takes it to
She
heart
go, yeah, she goes and
and
does
kills it during the cross examination and basically
it.
brings up like the fact that she had already sold the baby to that new
Mhm.
family for more money, along among other things. and she's found guilty, which,
Hmm.
I was a little shocked by. I didn't think she was going to, but like, as did she, because she literally is like shaking and nearly falls in her seat when she's found guilty for murder.
Hmm.
The only problem is
They can't get the baby back.
afterwards, uh, the dad goes to talk to Sam, and he's like, okay, now what does this mean for me?
But,
Like,
yeah,
do I get my daughter back? And she's like, it's complicated because, but then she's like, well, it will be easy for you to fight for custody now that she's in prison for your wife's murder,
hmm, but it's
but
still not easy.
it's still not done. You still have to go to court to get that custody.
Yeah.
And basically, like, I feel like the Tom is torn too. Like, good. The person who killed his wife is in jail
Fine in jail,
and
but
she gets
he,
justice. But
but my child, I can't have.
I can't have my child right now.
Hmm.
I like still like literally she is half me and I
Hmm.
still can't see her.
Have her. Yeah.
So like it's one of those things where it's like half happy ending, half not.
Hmm.
All right. What do you give this episode?
4.
Agreed. It's good. It's one of the better
Hmm.
ones.
The better
I
one.
I do not remember what's happening next week. I was not paying attention.
Did I put the trailers in? I did.
I like
It's
zone
called
out
Inconvenient
trailers.
Truth. It says Sean Riley investigates the death of a prominent chef when he stabbed to death in his own restaurant. Price has hesitations about prosecuting the defendant after new evidence comes to light.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that from the promo.
I didn't watch the promo, so this is my first time actually watching it right now.
All right,
Hold on.
Taryn will give us the details because I don't remember the promo. I don't remember any of that in the promo.
Okay, basically the problem is there's no like hard evidence. The evidence leans either way. That's the big problem.
Okay, so
So
that was the other ship.
we'll keep talking because I'm gonna combine SVU and the mothership like I was doing the World
Okay,
concept.
hold up. You keep talking. I'll be back.
Okay, so things we needed. I can't remember. We talked about birthdays, and they were all SVU birthdays. Um, sorry, I didn't get scratching on it. What was I gonna say? So we are very excited. I think this is not this is a couple of us, but it's definitely confirmed that we will get Kelly and a couple episodes coming up, but
Yeah,
not yet. Soon, but not yet. Um,
can't come fast enough.
it is on. I just sent it to you. Well, saw it on Twitter, but some people are just anyway. I don't feel like being on here this time. She will be on the episode on May 2nd.
Not soon enough.
So we
I
will
put the
see.
ship on.
That's two. That's not. I think he's off week next week, from what I heard. Next week is off
Oh,
week
dang
again.
it.
But after that, there's no more off weeks after that. It'll go straight through because this week will be 10,
Oh, yeah.
and then 11, 12, 13. So we'll go straight through to the end. And yeah. But it'll be very good to have some Rollins on the return week. But
Hooray!
Kelly's back. So
I
we
had
did
to
get
put
our
it
shirts.
on.
I'm gonna
I
wear mine
finally
on
got it.
Thursday.
I got the shirt. I got the
Yeah, we don't have.
bracelet.
Yeah, we didn't get the mug yet, but we got the
The mug is
magazine.
coming. I emailed them. They said
Okay,
it'll
that's
be
a
Monday,
really
Tuesday. At least it better be. And
yeah.
we got the TV guide. Hell
I
yeah.
have one too. Mine is where is it? It's over here. Oh,
They knew
mine
what
is.
they were doing. They knew
We'll
what they
do
were
like a
doing.
full. We'll make a video at some point where we like
They
go
knew what
over
they
and
were doing.
yeah, we're gonna go and graphic. We're gonna go over in detail all the
Yes, we
25-year
know in full
anniversary stuff
detail
when we
because
get
there's
everything. We don't have the mug
so
yet, so
many
therefore
things.
we couldn't make the video. So
So
we
many
don't have
things.
the mug yet. When we get the mug, we will make the video. We'll
But
make the
first
video when we get the
thing
mug.
first, the gorgeous picture that is the gorgeousness
Okay.
that is Mariska. Also, they put
Okay.
Peter
This
and
collage on the back is really good.
this
This
one.
design, because when you look
They
on when you
put
order this, you only see the front. So the back became as a shocker. I was like,
yeah.
oh,
They put Peter and Raoul on the back next to each other.
so there's lots of good
Yes.
stuff in here. So I mean, some of it I'm like, I can live without, but
There's literally
some of it,
yeah, like some things in there I could definitely go without, but a lot of it
but
like
some of it I'm just like, it's,
ugh,
I was like, oh, go in my
they
magazine
literally
set
put
when I
as much people as they could. They got Casey, they got Amara, they got Rollins, they got
they literally have
Mike,
ever like
Warner, Juan,
order. I
Jagan.
mean, if you like want a nice book, nice coffee
Yes.
table read or whatever you want in your life. And I'll pick you up
Yes.
one of these. You can order it on TV Guide's website. So make sure you order one. It'll go in my magazine stack on top of Monopoly. On order
Yeah,
Monopoly.
Karen has a place for hers. Mine goes in a pile on my
Oh, my pile, my
by my dresser.
neatness isn't here because I'm not at my house yet, but I will be at some point.
All
Um,
right, guys, let's do this.
moving on because this is one of my this episode is top tier. Children of Wolves. We've been waiting on this one a hot minute
Literally
because
is
it's
the
def
it is like the best.
I
The
would put
best.
this one right on for this season. I'd put this one right. I would put this one. I would put the one where Maddie comes home, and then the first one. That would be like on like
Agreed.
top tier of the season. It's
Agreed.
called Children of Wolves,
And once
directed by
again,
the Queen.
yes, directed by the queen that is Mariska, or known by her nickname Cecil B. Hargitay.
Hmm.
Um, this is the ninth episode that she has directed, which I did not
Hmm.
realize is that many. But
Yeah,
also, a few weeks prior, well, like when we found out that she was directing, there was this article or something that came out that basically if Mariska wanted to direct for a really long time. And
and
Dick was
it didn't.
like, no, nah. But Mariska kept pushing and pushing
Yeah,
and pushing
yeah.
until she
It's
finally
been
got to do it. And we're 9 episodes later, nine
I
directed
can't remember if
episodes
they're
later,
listed in this book.
baby.
They might.
Woo! And not only that, this one she directed, executive
Anyway,
produced, and
and
started
actually, yes, like it's just so good,
the Triple
y'all.
Crown.
You you
Yeah,
eat it up.
baby.
It's so good. Yeah,
There's a reason why there's
definitely.
like gloriousness
This
on this.
episode definitely ate. So left no crumbs. Anyway, sorry. So
Yes,
at the beginning,
exactly. Ate and left no crumbs.
I said that all the time. So basically at the beginning, Olivia Noah's getting ready for bed
And
and Olivia's
yes,
in his room, which is a really cool room.
yeah, Ryan was showing on Instagram how
He showed it
he called it a
that
glow up.
morning up.
He really did get a glow up.
Yes, it's so good.
Like he
It's so
has
good.
like a bed now, and he has this giant,
Like
giant bookcase.
yeah, which is
Like, way
fantastic.
to go,
We love a
Olivia.
reading child. Making
Way
sure
to
your
go.
child is
Give him
reading.
all the books. So much,
Top tier.
so big, so much so that Olivia was climbing on a ladder to get
Yeah,
books down.
yeah.
And
And
did
he
you?
has some like Pokemon items, which is really cool. So we know he likes Pokemon.
Yes, we had
He also
cannoned
has
that.
a lot of what we did. We
We
had
had
candidates.
cannoned that for a really long time, and now we have confirmation that it's true, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and we also have he also has a lot of like stuff to
Family
talk like
pictures.
family pictures, and he also has a lot of like police themed stuff to like based on his mom. So that's really
Which is
sweet.
so cute. Like,
It's so
oh,
sweet.
that what was
But we
the
can go on.
there was lines at the beginning that I missed. Do you know what they were? Or
Oh,
can
she
you?
was basically talking about like you still have all these like baby books. We could just donate them. And he's kind of like basically that's what Olivia's kind of talking to him about. Like, hey, you gotta
No,
clean your room, get rid of these old baby
no.
books.
I'm the same. I'm literally like struggling to get rid of
You don't
things.
part with
Oh,
anything.
you don't have to. Keep it, please.
Yeah, keep everything. Unfortunately, we're gonna have a problem with ourselves because we are both also really bad at getting rid of anything. But so then they're kind of talking, and then
Talking. And then Noah was like, all of a sudden, is like, Mom, um, you know that girl from the news,
Yeah.
Natty?
Yeah, and Lily's like, how do you know about that?
Lily's like, how do you know? And he's like, is she gonna be okay? And then Lily's like, how do you know about
That.
that? And Noah just like, I Googled you.
You're like,
Oh God.
you're just waiting for it to happen. It's gonna happen one day. Who doesn't know it's gonna be
Knew
there?
it was gonna happen. Like, we're just waiting, but it's like, and Olivia's like, oh,
What else? What did you find?
what did you learn? And he basically is like talking about Maddie at first. Um, and
Well, he asked first, well,
wants
why
to
are
make
there so
sure
many
she's
bad guys in the
okay.
world?
Yeah, and he's like, Mom, why are there so many bad guys in the world?
And
And
we're
then
like,
like,
"Mm,
what else did you find? And then like, what else did you find when you were Googling me? And he was honest at the very least. She's like, only what was on the first page.
at least
Um,
he's probably too much for a child to see. So you need to stop."
and then we get
The
the
two big things in
drop.
Olivia's
Like,
life are the things he ends up knowing.
we knew because we knew from the explanation that the summary that one of them was going to be brought up,
Yeah,
but
not
the
the other.
other one, uh-uh.
I
He
was
Noah
like,
looks right at her and he's like, William Lewis.
yo, and they
No.
put the clip of
They
they take
literally
a
put the freaking flashback.
they stick the flag. It's not a long one. I can't remember what scene it is, which where they
It's
take the
the
flag. It might be the
one
court one.
where it's like the one where she's like legit tied to the bed and I think is about to
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
freak out
yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah. And then they do then he says, and then Johnny D, they show him the courtroom scene where he's about to flip the table. That's where they show for Johnny D.
yeah, but you could see Olivia like
And it was like Olivia's getting
I
a little
literally
anxious.
my mom
That
and
that
I literally
anxiety is rising in her.
yeah,
Like,
you can see she's shaking up. My mom and I were both like, "Oh my God, no." Ooh,
what are you gonna talk to this one?
no. We knew Johnny G was gonna be brought up, but
Yeah, of
oh my good
course not. Because it
Lord.
said to know about Noah's origins, so we knew it
Yeah,
was about
but
it.
oh my good Lord, you freaking put Lewis too?
Yeah, it's
Both of them at the same time?
at the same time, it just punches you in the gut immediately.
Like, yeah, legit. Holy
Yeah. So
crap.
then,
And
so
then
then she's like,
he's like, I
he's like,
know, and Johnny D, my biological father, and Olivia's like,
look,
how do
how'd
you
you
know
know that?
that? And he's like, I went through your box in the closet. And Olivia's like, well, first
She
off, that
she
is
kind
an
of starts
invasion
stuttering.
of
She
my
doesn't like say
privacy.
anything. She kind of doesn't say anything. She's like, "That's an invasion of my privacy."
Privacy. So, yeah, that's out there. Olivia is literally like at this point scrambling for answers. She
Yeah,
does not know what to
she's
say. She's
not ready for
freaking
this.
out. Like, oh, it's bad. And then basically she goes on to say, and she's like, look, my job as your mom is to decide when to have these conversations.
Yeah, it's very
Like when
serious mom
I
kind
think
of
you're ready
conversation.
for them, or when
Because
I'm
Noah's 12
ready,
or 13.
or more so when I'm ready for
Yeah,
them.
she's really saying this when I'm rude. So
Because you can tell from this interaction right now,
it's not right. One of those
Olivia is not ready in the slightest.
one of those days. It's not the kind.
And then
The
she's
Zoom is
like,
at
all right, we're back.
what up?
Zoom went boom, but we're back. Okay,
I
ready for
moved
the
rooms.
oh yeah, so Olivia is struggling to figure out what to do with this. Noah is getting increasingly anxious as well. And his
Yeah,
mom had a copy, Olivia had a copy of Little Red Riding Hood like in her hand while she was cleaning stuff up. And she's like, Noah's like, actually, can you read that to me? So she sits down and reads Little Red Riding Hood to Noah, and wonderful person on Twitter. Their tag name is Sass Bewitched, which is also awesome. Put a wonderful parallel of
mm-hmm. Yeah,
little
how?
Noah and
Mm-hmm.
Olivia till the the episode we're talking about
Yeah.
now, and
Mm-hmm.
Noah. It's like, oh, the parallel, and he's all grown up, but
Yeah.
still. wants a story read to him by his mom, and
Yeah, he
it's
will
so
always be his
freaking
mother's sweet
cute.
boy.
It's so wholesome. And so and then, the cool things that SVU does. So as she's reading Little Red Riding Hood and talking about how Little Red Riding Hood has a red hood, we transition to these two teenage girls walking
Mm,
home through a park, one of which has a red hood on. And they were talking about this movie they were watching. They went to see, and
mhm,
it wasn't that good, but they would like we'll do anything for Jacob, and Lordy or something, which is a current famous actor, and they're laughing.
mhm.
And then they're walking by these three, four guys like that are literally just chilling.
In
They're
the
sitting
park.
on
Like,
the
why are you in the
playground.
park in the middle of the night?
They're literally at a playground. Like they're sitting on the swings and the slide. And at first, they offer to like give them some illicit
Some
illicit things
illicit
to
substances.
do that with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the girl's like, no,
No.
thanks, and try to leave. And then the guy stands up, and one of them is like, we didn't give you permission to leave. And it's
And you're
like,
like, oh,
oh shit, no, no,
okay.
no. That's
That's
not
not good.
that's not something normal guy, a good normal good guy would say to a girl. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so it's going downhill rather quickly.
And then one of the girls, I think it was the one in the red jacket, like makes like a snide comment about the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fortunately, that
He didn't
causes
like that change.
he
So
didn't like that. So he takes her,
by
grabs,
her
drags
throat
her
and drags her
back
across,
by the neck. You see her boots literally is
dragging her across the
dragging in
ground.
the ground.
And
She screams. The girl who is being dragged is Rosie, and then her friend
mm-hmm.
Sydney is standing there, frozen, as her
Mm-hmm.
friend is screaming. And um, then we go back to
Olivia.
Olivia and Noah, and Olivia leaves the room after saying goodnight to Noah,
Mm-hmm.
and immediately
She
back
sits
against
like
the
leans against
door,
the wall and takes a heavy breath.
heavy breath, hand on her head, like, oh God, what, what was
What just
that?
happened? Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Oh, also stay out of the hallway closet." Like, one point she was like, "Stay out of the closet in the hallway," or Noah was like, "I'll stay out of the hallway closet" or something. But anyway,
He's like, I won't do it again.
I will do it again. Scares Olivia enough that she goes to move the box that is in the closet, and it's up. She moves it up pretty high because she's on her tippy toes.
Yeah, because she can't reach it.
But we all like it's like, okay, then how did Noah get it?
Yeah,
Like she's on a step stool and on her tippy toes. But then
yeah,
we get a little like look-see in her closet and we see that she has some really gorgeous shoes.
yeah.
And then there's this camera scene where she puts the box down and she kind
Like,
of just
you can see.
collapses
Mm-hmm.
and sits there for a moment. And we see this photo album
Mm-hmm.
next to her with a cursive R on it.
And you're like, hmm.
And everyone is like, who's this? Why does she have one that says R on it? And my
Mm-hmm.
brain, I don't, because my brain,
Like
because,
you were just sleepy. Probably just sleeping.
sleepy, but also because I knew that episode 11 was coming up. I was like, oh, Rollins, like, releasey wedding, maybe. And then Terrence, like, Kalli, who else do we know his name starts with R? And I was like,
Mm.
Raphael Barber,
And I
please,
was
please. So we're
like,
kind of
what's in there?
also, hence, that would make sense of why it's a fancy ass R.
Exactly.
He's a fancy man.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Um, yep. So there's that. And we get the intro. And we get the next scene we get is Carisi and Olivia getting coffee at this like coffee stand. And
Mm.
Carisi's got a beanie on and Olivia's got her
It's
hood on.
raining a little
Like
bit,
it's
so
raining and they look cute and it's fun. And it's like Chris is like, so Noah Googled you? And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, yep.
Yeah.
And Casey immediately goes, that's it. I'm getting rid of the girls' computers.
Yeah, that's it.
Protective dad.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like, nope.
love protective. Like,
Yeah. He's like
oh,
that. Is
cute. But also, why do your girl, like, unless you meant
that's it.
tablets, like, why do your girls have computers?
Yeah, they're 6 and 8. But okay.
They're like 8 and
I
4. I don't need them.
didn't.
But it was so funny. He's like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough of this. I'm nipping it in the bud early. And I was like, oh. And then he goes on to be like, well, and
Mm-hmm.
Olivia's like, yeah, he found out stuff about Lewis and Johnny D. And Creasy's like he's like shocked, but he's trying to
Yeah.
be comforting to Liv. And he's like, well, at least it wasn't an OnlyFans account.
And I was like,
Dude, why the fuck is
well,
that?
that's a major jump
Why
here. We're like,
is that
oh,
the fucking first thing you think of?
I was like, that's a
Why would
major
you
jump
think?
here.
Why would
Like,
you think Olivia would have an OnlyFans account?
like, no, that's how you get your information leaked in that thing. So that's probably it.
That's how you get. That's how I got questions about.
Yeah, I was like, we're like,
And then Olivia's like,
with
"Well,
that.
that would have been at least a little bit easier to explain," which is funny.
And they were
He's
like,
like,
oh,
"Yeah, at least it would. That would be easier to explain." And then she goes on and talks about how like
you knew about Maddie.
he knew about Maddie and he was worried
And Grace
about
was like,
the um the
that
case and that she was like the bad guy was gonna get away with it. And like Olivia's like, well, I told him you didn't really have anything to worry about. And Chris is like,
you do.
yeah, about that. And Olivia's like, what? She's like, well, it's like, well, our main witness is out. We can't use
He's no
tree dude.
longer alive.
We can't use the tree dude, but I don't remember what the reason was for.
He
He's
was
out.
no, he was indeed murdered in the prison.
Oh yeah, he was
He was
in the
in
prison.
prison. Why we don't really know, but I guess we'll find out
Yeah,
next
so he
time.
was dead in prison. He was made dead in prison. And so Creasy's like kind of like scrambling now. And Olivia's like, put me on the stand. I'll rip him apart.
I said, "Ooh, kill him, get him."
Which she will, but also there's kind of iffy things about that. Because as we all know, Olivia saw Maddie in the truck,
Yeah,
person, and didn't do anything. And the defense could bring that up.
yeah, because that
But,
could be a problem.
you know, she has a legit excuse.
She had
She
her
could be
child in the car.
well, I had like she has an excuse though. She was in the
Mhm.
car with her son.
Yeah,
Not gonna do anything to get her son in danger.
yeah.
And, then they're talking, and then they get this call, and they have to go down to the playground where
Hmm.
they find Rosie,
Hmm.
who was stripped of her clothes and a belt around her neck, and found later found out that 4 men brutally assaulted her. They were just walking home from the movies.
Yeah,
Sick, and it's tragic. Problem is, they don't know where the friend is either. So, they bring her to the hospital. Like, it's legit.
it's not
Rose,
good.
it's not good. Rosie is hooked up to all these monitors. They bring in this babysitter, like, I think it was like a nanny or something, and she's like giving them information, and she's legit like torn up, crying.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
like Rosie's a good kid, and they're like, "Where's her parents?" And they're like, she's like in Japan for their 20th wedding anniversary, and it's like, oh
They gotta
God,
come home to this. What a
this
thing to,
keeps getting worse.
what a thing to come home to.
Yeah, legit. And they're probably gonna, cut their trip short because
Their child is on the
child.
ventilator.
Um, they're a little behind the scenes thing with that. The actress who played this character, it was her birthday, and so they had Mariska and Peter sing it to her
Mm-hmm.
after they filmed it, and they're like applauding her performance. It's like, oh, so sweet.
So,
I still have to watch that. I haven't watched it yet, but um, and then we get another crazy conversation, crazy live conversation, and as if I didn't have enough respect, if I didn't have a huge amount of respect for crazy already, this conversation increased it. Um, and basically, they're talking about like the horrors of the world and everything, and like the craziness of their job. And Olivia's like, we signed up for this. They didn't. In regards, um, Noah's finding out his
oh yeah,
biological father is a
very
serial
bad,
artist,
very, very bad. Yeah,
a very bad person. And
yeah,
then
that's what she asked him.
like
Teresa,
Noah's
like he's a strong kid.
kid live. Noah's
Sure,
strong. And the way he says it is just, and
very,
then he's like,
very reassuring, very calm.
is he strong? And Olivia's like, is he strong enough to find out that his father is a
Yeah, it. We all, yeah,
artist?
yeah,
And Sonny looks right at her, says in the most sincere
sincere.
tone, you
Yeah,
were.
like
My God, my
it's such a,
heart.
it's so much good
I for like
person
it
and
was
Teresa.
up until that moment that I forgot Tracy knew about that because I didn't think he did.
Mm,
But then I remember, and then now that I said it, there was a conversation that they had, I think, a few seasons ago, where he did learn it.
If he wasn't on the show
Oh
yet,
yeah, it was right before. Actually, I think it was in the finale when right the last season finale when they're
oh yeah, yeah, the
like talking about
forbidden, the
like
also forbidden episode.
being nervous about bringing a child into the
Yeah,
world
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he knows that, and he's like, "You were," and it's like,
yeah.
they care about each other so damn much.
Their friendship is top tier, and I love to see it.
Like,
It's a little behind the scenes scene of like, um, Mariska and Peter. They're like laying around in the back. They're like finger poking each other. Like, well, obviously, I have two hands. We're not the same. So, but
yeah,
they're like this with each other, and
it's so cute. Like they're
it's
friends in
really,
real life. They're friends on
it's
screen. I very much believe that as much as I, as much as I want Barbara there too, because that friendship plus whatever else it could be was
mhm.
great. This friendship that Olivia has with Carisi is something
It's
that
been
she
so good.
like
It's been
not
really good for
necessarily
her.
desperately needs. It's good for her. It's good for him. It's probably the most sincere thing on the sincere kind of friendship relationship on the show right now.
Mhm.
Honestly, in my opinion.
Yes.
Anyway, then we find out that yes, Rosie was sexually assaulted by four guys. They have to, you know, then they have to go figure out where Sydney went because she wasn't at the playground.
Mhm.
But like they know she was because they found her lipstick on the slide. Um,
Mhm.
so they have to go talk to their stepmom, the Sydney's stepmom, who's played by a wonderful Broadway actress, Carrie Butler, who has been on the show before, repeat offender. Also did this fun little playbill behind the scenes Broadway
Okay.
thing with Mariska, which again only continues to prove my point. Give me a musical episode.
Yeah, the Orioles. I'm pretty sure that's the Orioles.
I'm not asking anymore.
You're
What?
so funny. I said you're so funny.
You know I've wanted this for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I continue to keep getting more reasons why I want it and why they're like putting little hints for it. So I'm not asking anymore. I'm begging, but this is also an order. Give it, please.
More. Mm.
Anyway, she's like she talked to how Sydney was going to a movie, um, and everything. She's like, oh, I, called her. She was fine. And Olivia's like, can you call her again? And so she does.
And
And
doesn't
we see Sydney on the phone with a belt around her neck.
Oh yeah,
One of
you
the
see the option. Yeah, it does answer. She does answer, but she keeps it very brief and very short.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, fine, sorry, my phone's dying, bye, etc. Hangs up.
Mm.
And the stepmom was like, see, she's fine. Olivia's like,
Libby's like, no,
no, she's not.
there's distress in her voice. No, she's not.
And then we see her with the belt around her neck. The guy's pulling the belt. Well, one of them else has the phone. Well, she has the phone in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm legit at this point. I was like, who the hell are these boys? Like, what?
And why
What
are
the
you doing
heck
this?
is their
Well,
deal? Why are they doing this?
mhm.
Um. Oh, I got a little ahead of myself. So this
Yeah,
is when
so
there's
anytime
testing.
the lipstick on
And
this
I
part.
find out the lipstick on the slide was Sydney's, and then the kit for Rosie was done, and it was found out that four four samples
Yeah,
of
DNA were found. So,
evidence came from these guys, and they were mid to late teens.
I
Four,
messed up.
four men brutally assaulted her. And people still wonder why women are afraid. Well, anyway, uh, they get some intel of like where Sydney could be, and she has. They think that it's like in a boatyard,
Mhm.
and so they're all
So the
going
gang all goes out to the
down.
boatyard.
They're all gang all shows up, quite literally the whole gang, Carisi included, and he's
Same as
wearing.
in this episode. The crew,
Yeah, Carisi's like
they
Carisi has a
vested him up with the best.
Carisi has a bulletproof vest on, and he's like, "Man, it's been a while." It's like it. He's like, "It's been a while since I've worn one of these things."
It might be the last time he won was Counselor at Chinatown, which was
Yeah,
21.
he was. It was, and that was
21.
21, season 21. And so it's been years since he's worn one. And but it. And Olivia's like, it suits you, counselor. Their little joke, and he's like, "Well, if only I had a gun." And Olivia's like, "Yeah, well, that would be illegal.
Yeah, you can.
Can't give you a gun. Sorry." Uh,
And they're digging around the
they
boatyard.
find evidence that Sydney was on the boat. They find her phone. They find her a
Jackets,
jacket that was
the red, the red,
red
the
hoodie
red.
that Rosie was wearing. And she's basically like, "Great, God knows what was done to her
This girl on this boat.
in on this boat, and we still don't know where she is." So they go talk to the stepmom again, and she's crumbling, realizing that Olivia's right, and Sydney isn't fine. And it's basically like this is they all they have. Like Sydney's father is no longer
Mm.
Sydney's father died in a car accident last year. The stepmom, the biological mom is not in the picture. Basically, the stepmom and Sydney are all the two all the two
Mm.
have.
Yep.
And then so now they need to find these boys. And then I forget who says it, But somebody says, well, I bet they don't have the best attendance record.
You should be in school and not doing it
Yes, exactly.
in
Uh,
school.
and then, the jacket's taken as a souvenir. And then at one point, like, forget who Olivia was talking to, but she's like, oh, I think it was the parents. The parents came. Rosie's
Mhm.
parents came. They see their daughter, and she's like, why would somebody do this? And Parisi's there trying to comfort them, console them too. And Olivia's like, some people just actually, I forget who says it.
I don't know.
Either Olivia or Sunny says some people just want to cause pain. And and they don't say it, but like on the underlining thing is some people just want to cause pain to women.
Yeah,
Um, when
I don't know what that means.
I wrote it down because it had some sort of importance, and I don't remember what it was.
But anyway, until you remember, I'll keep going. So then
I'm gonna
they
Google it.
they
See
end
what.
up finding out. They find one of the boys' moms,
Then
and
boy's name is
the
Seth,
mom, yeah, and the mom says his name is Seth.
and the mom's
And
like, "Oh,
like,
he's a good kid." No,
I'm
no,
like,
ma'am, no,
no, he's
he's
not.
not. No, he is not.
But then like she has some kind of private practice or something. Or not private. They didn't really quite whatever. Anyway, they don't know. But they're held up in there, Seth and the other guys, and um they have Rosie, but no,
Okay,
that's it, Sydney.
I googled it, and the line is like blowing windbags into human brains, and it's basically like a windbag is somebody who's pompous. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I
So
don't
then they're
remember
on the
what it was, but it was important.
I don't
Ugh,
know. You wrote it down below. We'll come back to it when you remember.
I'm
So
not
Sydney's
gonna
on the
remember because I don't.
so there's Seth and Sydney and all the other guys are kicked out of his mom's place. And
Yeah, like Sydney still
oh
has
wait,
a
and then
bag.
Olivia's asked the mom for her phone to call in, hostage negotiation. They hadn't and she had to be hostage negotiation.
Yeah.
And
And,
then
actually, and then at one point she's like, trying to tell the mom,
explained to her mom, like, do you ever
like
like do
ever,
harmful things to animals?
and she's like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, I think it was like rats or something.
And
Then Olivia's like, look, they
that's where
start
it
out
started.
with animals and slowly become one. Like, that's a telltale sign of like a
Yeah, if you're
psychopath.
harming animals, you probably will harm a person.
Um,
So
yeah, so the
then
phone rings and their Seth is basically whispering to Cindy, you tell her you're okay or you end up like your friend.
and
And
then
it's
you're
like,
like,
oh crap. And it's like, oh, and Cindy's like, yes, I'm fine, it's okay, we're just playing, everything's fine. And Olivia's like, all right, Seth, let me talk to you.
mm-hmm.
And basically it's like, are you a man, Seth?
Or you go
Or are you an animal?
It's
And it's like, holy fuck.
good.
Like this is where everything shit starts to go down.
Mm-hmm.
And keep this in mind. Not only is Mariska acting this out, but she like directed herself.
Yeah, it's
Like
so good. Like
it's
it's so good.
so
And raining. You have seen this shown the shot with people have filmed it or listened to it. Like it's raining on that day, so like it's very intense.
yeah.
It's so
Whoever wrote this, bravo to you.
yeah. I mean, of course, they probably didn't predict it was going to rain, but it's top tier.
Yeah, so
She has the
are
uh,
you an animal? And Seth's like, I'm not. And he's like, I know, it's not that hard to it's I know, I know. So it's not that hard to ignore the animal parts of yourself.
you're like,
Like, give
let's
her up. Give yourself up. It'll be fine. And he's like, fine, but get my mom out of here. Because
Hmm.
wife also forgot to mention that there's snipers on the roof.
Yeah.
So
Olivia's like, I can, they don't, Olivia's like, they don't know where you are, but I know where you are.
you
And I can
are
tell them where you are right now. You're like,
now. So here you go. Make your choice. So they
he said,
escort the
you
mom
can
away.
leave.
Seth walks out, um, gives himself up. They go, they get Sydney. And I was like, and it is pouring rain now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we get the scene in the promo where Olivia has her NYPD hat on. And Seth walks out and she's like glaring at him because he's smiling and he's just like he gives
And
himself up. He gets arrested. And she calls Carisi and is like, give
he got him.
like we got him. And Carisi's like, I wish I had better news. Rosie's parents decided to take her off life support.
Yep. And now he's gonna be charged with murder.
And so now, not only
Olivia's
did Seth orchestrate a GR, they also killed this girl
mm-hmm. They went away for a
because
long
she was
time.
like, they took her off life support. She was brain dead, and they just
Yeah.
took her off. And in an instant, Olivia's, for lack of a better term, animal instincts,
Mm-hmm.
maternal instincts kick in,
Yeah, put him in my car.
is beyond angry.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at Velasco and she's like,
I
I want
want
him.
him in
I
my car. I said, oh,
was like, oh crap. Velasco's like, what?
what?
And Olivia's like, do it now.
You know, he's like, he wasn't ready for this kind of thing. He was just like,
But also, I'm like, why out of all the people would she ask Velasco?
I mean, he's been in the longest out of the people who are currently here.
Oh yeah, because right, right. Finn isn't
And
in the
Finn is on,
episode.
and not, it would have probably
Finn's
Finn
not
be
in the
there.
episode. Uh, she could ask Bruno, but Bruno would kind of possibly like push back.
Yeah.
And well, we
He
got
did.
one woman worked used to be IAB, and one was the FBI agent.
Yeah,
So
he can't take anything.
I'm gonna go
Velasquez.
with my detective who used to have gang ties, who
Yeah.
kind of understands this shit
Yeah.
right now. So, but
It's so.
at least she was smart and brought a
She took
witness.
some. We took a witness, but I did not hurt
Took a
harm.
witness. Um, yeah. So after all this, I was like, give Em another Emmy right now.
It's so good.
Now.
Y'all listen.
But we haven't even gotten to the even better stuff yet.
Yeah. Well, not just better, but it is the most well
It's
acted thing
insane.
in this episode.
And Velasco's pretty much like, why do I have to be the
Yeah.
witness? Why do I have to
Yeah,
do this?
whatever you say.
Anyway, they put Seth in the car and they drive to the playground. And they take him out. And Seth is like, I thought we were going back to the precinct.
But
Like,
no,
I was
you
like,
wish
oh,
you were.
well, first we're gonna do a little forensic
Or the
reaction.
react. I said, oh,
It's like,
you know,
so they bring him to where he dragged, or
yeah.
where Rose was dragged by her boots.
Yeah.
The the boot marks are still there. They literally, Olivia literally puts him there and
Mm-hmm.
puts
She starts to pull him
her
the same.
arm around his neck,
Not as intense.
starts to drag him
It's like, oh,
like he dragged Rosie
yeah. And she says, you ended her story last night.
last
Yeah.
night. And she literally like pushes him down on the like carousel.
Mm-hmm. The skinny thing.
So Velasco's behind her. She's staring down at him.
She's there's that like
Oh,
intense stare out. This guy it's jump like, oh,
this fuck. Like, I'm
it's just
usually
like, oh,
not. I'm like Mariska and Olivia usually don't scare me.
where's
I
you?
I was like,
Scary.
it was like I laugh at uncomfortable things. And I was laughing because it was that fucking insane.
And then you're just like, oh.
But
Like
also,
whatever you say, who listen to her? You would listen to her.
holy crap, Mariska could play a really badass villain.
You really
That
could.
proved it because holy fuck, facial expressions, terrifying.
Yeah, like whatever you're saying, whatever you want me to do, you're
And
looking
she's
at me
like,
like
"You
that.
ended her story last night, and I want to hear. So now you're gonna know about it, and I want to hear her story." And but then she goes on and she's like, "But not from this pathetic little insect." She
Yeah,
legit fucking whispers it, and I'm just
I know. He's like, he's not even an animal anymore. He's insects. It's like, oh,
like, holy Mariska,
you were,
bow down to the
I don't know,
queen. Give her another
exactly like
Emmy right fucking
right now. This
now.
episode is top
Oh,
tier in every form and animal fashion. All over
I
everything.
literally wrote down that this is fucking insane because it was, but I can't eat like
You need to go
legit.
watch this one. If you haven't
Her
been
lip,
watching this for you in
yeah,
a hot minute, this is when
just
you gotta pick up.
yeah, just for the
It's
facial
just
expressions, like legit, her lips were curled. She's like whispering insect. I'm
yeah,
like,
it's
oh.
so good, yo. It's like whatever you say, man.
And then lifts him up, basically hands him to Velasco,
Mm.
and he's like, "I thought you wanted a reenactment." He's like, "I changed my mind." Basically, for a few things along those lines.
Mm.
One, the only person who should be telling Olivia didn't want to hear the story from him. And yeah, I think he had enough of experiencing the story for himself. But the only person who should be telling the story is Sydney and
Yeah.
Rosie, but since she can't, Sydney. Also, you made a point where you think she was afraid of her own rage. You think
Mm.
that she was starting to realize that she was going
A little too far. Like, wait,
And I get it, but I have to disagree because knowing she was going too far was if she knew that, she wouldn't have brought this kid to the
mm.
playground in the first place. I think the rage took over and she just felt like she had to do this after the
Yeah.
horribleness that these two girls went through. But in the end changed her mind because A, this guy pretty much got scared straight already.
Mm.
That was enough. Two,
He's
again,
in
like
too,
you said,
so
it's not her story to tell. It's not his story to tell. She needs to hear it from the girls herself. And I literally wrote, I was like, this is the best episode ever.
yeah, it's pretty top down, top tier
This
on
is like
episode.
one
I
of the
love this one.
top SVU episodes. And a lot of people disagreed, and I don't know why, because this was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I gotta add
This
some
is
more to
like
my list of
one
favorite
of
episodes.
the best. Only amplified by the fact that Mariska directed it, but holy
Mhm.
crap, it was amazing. And we're not
So
even done yet.
yeah, we're not done. We're almost done, but not done. The Zoom is about to explode again. We literally
Yeah,
talked about
so
this
we're
episode for so
gonna
long.
yeah, best legit like go back again.
Okay, we're back.
So yeah, after all of that craziness, Olivia's like, just put him back in the car. So they bring him
Mhm.
to the precinct, and then Olivia goes to talk to Sydney after sending her condolences to Rosie's parents. And they brings the stepmom to see Sydney and talks to Sydney. And she was like, I wanted to help her, but I froze. And we do see that, like, from street cameras, which I forgot to mention earlier, that she does run to help her friend. Like, she
Mhm.
doesn't stand there. She runs to try to help her. But then, due to something called tonic immobility, she freezes.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they basically pushed her face down
On the slide.
on the slide and basically kind of made her stay there and
Mm-hmm.
watch while this happened to her friend.
Mm-hmm.
Nice guys. So yeah, both of them are freaking traumatized from this. And then, they took her to this boathouse and everything.
Mm-hmm.
House, put the belt put the belt around her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Ow. Put the belt around her neck and, made her do things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they assaulted her too. And she said something about a big circle. And like at one point I was like, oh my God, was she a part of this? She wasn't. She was assaulted and traumatized too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they go back to the precinct and they're talking about Seth and how Seth is afraid, particularly of Olivia. I mean, rightfully so. But
Mm-hmm.
because of this, they found half a dozen other attacks connected to this gang of the Children of Wolves,
Mm-hmm.
where the episode title comes from. But Carisi says that, this might cause issues of coercion at trial because Seth is afraid of Olivia
Mm-hmm.
and basically is pinning the blame and he's calling all of it consensual. But,
Mm-hmm.
probably is making
Yeah, no, it's not.
Olivia think maybe I shouldn't have let him get that easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, saying it's consensual and all the other three boys are like basically pinning it on each other. Um, yeah. So there's that. And also the issue of coercion with like Maddie and like coercion at trial with this kid. It's a mess, but it's going to trial.
Mm-hmm.
And then Curry stands at the door and she's like, "You're lucky, pretty much lucky I'm not an IAB anymore."
Yeah, because she blew out of
Meaning,
line. She went to the rules. She was quite a.
meaning that that people are kind of aware of what Olivia did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know, and I'm gonna go home to my son, and you should do the same.
Mm-hmm.
So Olivia goes home. She talks to Noah. And after all this, she's like, "Yeah, I should I should do this." And she says, "Are you ready to hear the beginning of your story?" And she
Mm-hmm.
says, "Yes." And Noah was like, "Yeah, ours has a happy ending. You and me right here." And I was like, "Aw." Because they were talking about like how a story, not all stories have happy endings and stuff earlier, but
Mm-hmm.
ours does because we have each other. And I was like, and so she basically pulls out the um
The adoption, petition for adoption,
adoption
stuff.
forms, and she's like, it all started with this beautiful woman named Ellie Porter,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's the end. And
Apparently, there's some when like people zoomed in on the
yeah,
paperwork.
people
There's some
zoomed in and were
correct
like,
information on
it's
it.
wrong
Yeah, it
because
is wrong information. There's the wrong judge, has the wrong date.
yeah, the wrong date of when Noah was officially
We
adopted,
clearly know when it was. It was in an episode.
and it said that
Has the
Judge
wrong judge,
it says that
which is
Barth
it is
officially
not
initiated the adoption, not Judge Linden. I'm
correct.
sorry. Do you think Olivia would keep that if it was Barth with all the
Mm-hmm.
fights they've had in the past
Mm-hmm.
when she
Mm-hmm.
became a attorney? It was not Barth. It was Linden.
Mm-hmm.
We know this. They should know this too. But all in all, this episode gets 10 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, this is a top tier.
Top tier, top tier of all time. This is what season 25 SVU is all about. And once again,
Mm-hmm.
any episode directed by Mariska
It's always good. It's never
is
always a banger.
basically a knocks out of the park. So, yeah. But we're back to regularly scheduled stuff next week.
Hmm.
Can Marisha direct every week? Like, because they
Important.
had like interviews of like the cast of like how is it like
Mhm. They're like amazing.
amazing? Like they're like part of them is like it's like an out of body experience almost because it's like you're acting with her and then she's giving you like directing and it's also just like an honor for them. And they specifically asked Kevin Kane because the first appearance he ever had on SVU was an episode directed
Mhm.
by Mariska. And now he's getting directed by her as one of the squad members. And, it's really cool how they these all these people trust her to direct them. And it's awesome. So yes. Why can't we have this every week?
It's so good.
It's so good. I don't remember what happens next week.
It's called combat fatigue.
Because was that amazing? But I was like not paying attention.
Okay, basically, it is the guy who kidnapped Maddie. They're going to trial.
Oh yeah, we're going to try Maddie trial.
Yeah, trial. It says the squad is on edge as Carisi waits for a verdict on Maddie's kidnapping case. Benson tries to help the Flynn family pick up the pieces of their broken life.
Yeah, so we get courtroom crazy. We haven't gotten that in a long
What's the
time.
matter? Yeah, so it's
But also, Olivia's like
intense.
this guy is sick and
Mm-hmm.
manipulative and like, it's kind of difficult considering, Maddie the whole time Maddie was kidnapped was she was basically fed illicit substances.
Mm-hmm.
So like how much does she actually remember? And if she does,
Yeah,
how much
that's
is the
gonna cause
jury
us some
going
problems.
to think is
Believe her,
real?
she doesn't remember,
Because
and
she was basically,
under the
dosed
influence of some sort.
under the influence basically the entire time until, you know, she was sold to the bird dude and Olivia found her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yes, this episode gets 10 out of 5 stars. Top tier. Next week should be good too. Give me
Mm-hmm.
all the Carisi in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're finally getting to the end of the Maddie thing, which has literally been
They're
like
closing her up. We're,
closing
we're
that up.
hoping to.
Hopefully.
We're
We
hoping
don't know.
anyway to.
We don't
We're
know.
hoping to, close this chapter. We're
All
hoping.
right. Do you have time to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. I gotta go.
So we're back once again.
OC time.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
wardrobe
it's called
change. Semper Fi,
Semper Semper Fi.
which is not how I thought it was pronounced. That's how they said it in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Yeah,
start
look at
off
that. Wait a minute. Hold on.
with Bernie is at home.
It means always faithful, the motto of the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yes. Which
Anyway,
we'll get to that later because it is important. Um, um, oh my God, we started off with Bernie at Randall's house now because Randall's trying to take care of her, but
mm-hmm.
also they hired a new caretaker. I don't remember his name, but he's pretty awesome. And Randall's basically like sit her on the couch, put on
Put
some
on the show.
put on
Put
her
on some
cooking
cooking show.
shows, and she'll be
She'll be fine. If she doesn't understand streaming, don't try to teach it to her. Put the show on.
put some cooking shows on, and she'll sit and she'll watch for a few hours. I was like, oh my God, same. That's legit all I watch too. Um, Randall's got style. He does. He looks pretty good.
His house looks pretty nice.
His
Yeah,
house is nice. Everything looks nice. It's new take caretaker. Um, and Bernie, like, Bernie is talking and then she just says shit without realizing it.
they're like,
And
Because
they're
if you,
talking
you're
about
like,
how like they're gonna go see, the younger brother, and Bernie's like, I'm really glad Joey didn't grow up in the same house you did.
you're like,
And Randall's like, yeah,
yeah, yeah, mom.
thanks, Mom. Thanks for that reminder.
Hmm.
And then Bernie like pulls out crackers from,
And she only wanted the cheesy flavor out. She wanted them.
and she's like, these aren't the right ones. And Randall's like, what do you mean, Ma? You told me to get, you said crackers, so I got crackers. She's like, no, they're not the right ones. They have supposed to have cheese, the cheese in the middle,
And he
and
was
the
like, it's the
caretaker
he's like, it's
like,
the multi-pack, mom. There's probably some cheese.
yeah, legit. It was hysterical. It's like Randall's like, oh my God, what am I doing? What's going on? And the
And the
caretaker
caretaker, he's like,
immediately,
I'll put them on your list. Don't worry, I'll put them on the list for you.
yeah, the caretaker immediately says the brand that Bernie is thinking of, and she's like, yes, I like him. He gets it. It's like, oh my gosh. So, yeah. And I wrote at one point, I was like, Randall is hilarious and actually nice,
The only
which,
person he's mean to is Elliot. He just likes to play.
yeah, legit. Like, you didn't think this would be happening with the Stabler siblings, but yeah.
But Randall's a real one out here.
So, then Randall goes to talk to Elliot, and, like, how
He's
they're both kind of concerned
because he's
about
originally told Elliot they're gonna have a bros night.
a bros night. No,
That's what he said originally. Elliot's like,
no,
this is.
no.
And he's like, you know about what Joey's up to, and he's like,
You?
what?
So Randall thinks that he's using, which
It's true,
is
but
true, and
they
Elliot
don't know.
knows it, but
Active denial.
Randall doesn't
Plans to know
know that Elliot found
the evidence of such in his house,
evidence of stuff.
in his home.
Randall's like, okay, so we're gonna go do an intervention. And Elliot's like, no, that's stupid. Because we all know that Elliot in
Plus, I would say,
intervention
well, in
is not
interventions as
combined
well.
well.
They don't know well, so we learned this in season one. It's not
But Randall's like not having it, so
we're
he
going.
leads the whole thing. They go to talk to
This next bit is hilarious though. It's
yeah,
so
they go to the house, the door is locked.
funny.
And
Of course it
Randall
is.
looks right at him. He's like, there you go. Have at it, Detective Stabler.
He was like, what? He was like, no, that's called breaking and entering. And you're like, oh, so now you want to follow
Now
the
you
rules.
have limits. Now
Now
you
break
have
into the
limits. You
apartment,
won't
you can't
break
do
and
that.
enter into your brother's apartment, but you'll punch somebody on the street. Okay. Noted.
Sure, whatever, Elliot.
Sure. And Randall's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. So he goes down to the maid. He's like, excuse me, I don't mean to bother you. We're trying to get into our brother's apartment. We can't find our keys. All suave and
Yeah, and they
nice.
don't know that what he's actually doing. He plays it off really good, and then they get the door open.
And he
The
walks
mail.
down the hall with the cleaning person, and he looks out at Elliot and he
He's
smiles
like,
at him with this like beaming smile. It's hysterical. So the woman opens up the door and they go right in.
mm-hmm. He's like, we could have just, Randall is very smart. He plays it off real good.
And then they go in and they find that Joe has a safe. And again, Elliot, he's like, "How about it?" And Elliot's like, "It's what?" It's like, "It's not." Randall's like, "It's not gonna be me."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, well, let's try something. Like, you don't think he would be stupid enough to, do his
For his
birthday, right?
birthday,
They type it in.
it's his
Yep,
birthday.
it's his birthday.
Don't
They
make your safe with your birthday. That's the first thing people guess.
yeah, legit. That's the
Or anyone
first thing
who knows
people are.
birthday.
And he's like, so they open it and they see,
You see some money, and then there's like a little kit that has the illicit stuff in it, and he's like,
yeah,
Jesus
and
Christ on a
literally
bike.
Randall goes, Jesus Christ on a bike. Like, now we actually have to have an intervention because
Because they have found the
there's
substance
this.
in his house.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
then we
goes.
get
I think
the
this is in
intro
the
and we
title
get the
song, the intro
next
song.
day.
Yeah.
I don't remember what, the first
Oh,
part.
because Reyes had walked in, he's been gone for a hot minute. And he's like, woo, or something, and just like, we don't do that here.
Yep, just
He's
literally
like,
like sits
we
him
don't
down,
even.
taps on his shoulder. We don't do that here.
We really don't. We don't celebrate things.
So we're legit just like, hi, you're back. Okay, let's get back to work. And yeah, no, Jet obviously would be like, Jet would not obviously want somebody cheering.
That's just
Like,
stop.
stop, stop.
Stop.
And I was like, yay, Reyes is back.
Mhm.
And Elliot says something like, hey, what? Like, they getting sick? They getting, you getting sick of your kids? And Reyes is like, more like my kids are getting, more like my kids are sick of me being around. And it's like,
We're like,
uh,
mm.
because that's exactly what happened when Elliot was going through the separation slash divorce with Kathy. Like,
Well, he didn't actually ever get divorced. He
it,
went back. I
yeah, okay, the
mean,
separation. Because,
he never
Maureen,
could commit to it.
Maureen and Kathleen did not want anything to do with him.
They're
But
like, you come back or you
Elizabeth,
leave forever. You can't be in.
Elizabeth, Dickie and Eli were all young enough to be like,
Not Eli, he wasn't
no,
born yet.
Eli wasn't born yet. Elizabeth and Dickie were still too young to know what was going on, so they were with him. His kids don't even want him around. Like,
Tragic.
why, Raiders? Why?
He really did. Mm.
Okay.
And then Ayana walks in. She got a debrief on the past, all the
Yeah,
things that
and
just happened with the
Jet is
Bonners and the
basically like,
Wild World.
okay, so Reyes is back, Belle's back from recovery, we're all here again. And then yep, Ayana walks in for a debrief. And Elliot brings up a
He's
case.
like, oh, this just wound up
Well,
on
this
my
yeah,
desk.
this just wound up
Like,
on my desk.
I was
Can
like,
you come up with a better fucking excuse?
sure. He's like, sure.
And then, they talk about it, and then Ayana pulls Elliot over and she's like, I'm gonna let you decide if you want to tell me where this actually came from.
Mm-hmm.
She saw
We
her,
just
right?
didn't want it.
Through
Yeah,
that.
she knew.
And Danielle, of course, is tweeting with us, live tweeting with us. But the funny part is she said literally she's on a plane
Mm-hmm.
and she's
She was
still
flying either from her home
like
back to Surrey or
a
she was
commitment.
taking. She
Um,
didn't even, she wants to tell he left. She
so
gets
we
the episode to buy live tweets. She's
yeah,
not actually watching.
yeah. Like she literally will be like, tell me what happened. I don't remember. And it's like,
It was like a month ago. It'd be like three, four
but
weeks when they actually shut it.
I was like, but wait a minute, you were in this.
It's like 3 or 4 weeks later by the time it's up on TV. So, you
Uh,
probably forgot.
so yeah, true. So, Elliot decides to tell Liana like what he found at his house and how he's worried about his brother and he does feel guilty.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause I mean,
and somebody, I forget who says this.
it's like Yano's line. She talks about,
An addiction doesn't need an excuse.
I wasn't saying addict, but I was in a hurry.
An addiction doesn't need an excuse, but we'll be happy to take one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the transition to like them talking about the case. And I wrote that, Jet is so fucking queer coded because she's literally standing there in a fucking vest and brown pants.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, fucking say it already. You're showing it enough.
Exactly. You
This
just know.
legit, we all know at this point. They just need to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And like
So
at this point,
then,
I'm almost convinced that um part of Jet's wardrobe is being chosen by Ainsley because Ainsley would wear stuff like that.
it's very fitting. It's very fitting.
And then she like goes
She
into
says something, and then she goes into, I dated a Hell's
like
Angel.
how like she knows about these drugs,
Mm.
the stuff about the drugs, and they're all looking at her like, how
They
do
like
you know?
eyebrow raise. She says the first line. They're like,
She's like,
I dated a
like
Hell's
I
Angel.
dated a Hell's Angel,
And then
and Elliot's
both
like
of Elliot and Ayana, their eyebrows raised, like, what? And then she's
briefly.
like, briefly.
I was like, okay, pause. break that down because that's hilarious. First off, more background info. Second, continuing with the things that Ainsley said last season, that Jet likes criminals slash bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Hells Angels are a motorcycle club, an international outlaw motorcycle club that deals with, on occasion, drugs, money laundering, and extortion.
All the organized crime.
All the
Yes,
organized crime.
organized crime.
And I was like, oh, so maybe that's how she learned how to ride a motorcycle, learned everything about motorcycles. That would make sense.
Probably, but you know,
But
they like to throw stuff at you for fun. Just throw these
also,
lines and be like, here you
hi, this is another person that she dated. First off, why is all of our background information on her either random stuff that she did in college or random guys she dated?
Yeah, that's it. They don't tell us
Legit,
enough.
that all you think that is important about her? Like, I want to know about her family. I want to know about her hobbies. I want to know the general basics. We know enough
Mm-hmm.
about all the guys she's dated.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you want to be more, you want to give us more, say, oh, I dated this girl in college. Boom. There you go. Okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, it just feels like they're like resorting to Jet having only like two things, like
Mm-hmm.
her tech and her occasional dating life. When she's so much more than that, we've seen it in
Mm-hmm.
past seasons. Um, anyway, also the fact that she like totally admitted that to a whole room of cops,
Mm-hmm.
which is why she had to be like, briefly,
And make sure you knew briefly.
briefly, like I know what they're doing, briefly. Um, so they get some more intel. They know it came from like, um, because we know like
Afghanistan
Joe
covering.
Jr. is a veteran. Elliot goes undercover, and of course he does. He always does. Elliot
First.
goes undercover, in this veterans, um, like almost like AA group.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, First off, props to OC that all of the people in this scene
Or actual veteran.
are actual veterans,
Mm-hmm.
including one gentleman who was in a wheelchair, like a motorized wheelchair. That was
Mm.
like
He's
he's
must speak
like the
Italian.
head guy of
Mm-hmm.
the thing. But basically, like all these people are like sharing their stories. And the only one that I really remember was this guy who said that he has to watch his kids' baseball games from his car because every time he hears the crack of the bat hitting the ball, it takes him right back to the war zone
Mm-hmm.
because it sounds like what he would hear there. Um, and for once, this is actually an undercover thing that Elliot is qualified for
Yeah, because
because
he
he is a
actually is a
veteran.
veteran.
He actually is
So
a
you know,
veteran,
but he played this well. Because he knew what it was like. So he did do this
but
well.
he doesn't play himself. He plays somebody named Henry, but he's using his actual details.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then he basically like, talks to this guy and tells him where he served and everything. And the guy is like, "Oh, did you know so and so?" His dad, and Elliot's like, "I'll look into it." And then we have to have, after he gets this information, because they think this is where these drugs are coming from. Elliot and Randall go to have the intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And what was this line? Bathrooms on the
I think Joey says it to Randall because he's
oh, yeah,
being
funny.
suspicious.
Yeah, and he's like looking around. He's
He's
like,
like,
"I'm on
bathrooms
the
on the
right,
right,
Grandpa."
Grandpa.
I'm like, "This is your freaking brother," but okay. Well, they talk to him and they're like concerned about him, and Joey immediately starts getting extremely defensive. It's
You're
like, "No,
screaming.
I'm fine. I don't need help. Everything's fine."
Hmm.
Well, right, and then we find out some information that Randall has a daughter, or his youngest daughter, Connie. They sent her to had this issue, and they sent her a nice rehab in Arizona. We could
And
send
she's
you there
done
too. And Joe is like, I don't want help.
it.
But also, he admits he put the word help in there.
Hmm.
So he doesn't want help. But he might be
Hmm.
thinking that maybe he does, he just doesn't want it.
Or the way they bring it across makes, they've had just like they did sneak up. They kind of,
Yeah, and
the way
Elliot then
they probably brought
and
it
then
up to
we
kind
get
of play
into a
off with
freaking screaming match that Randall's
it
trying to
did
break up, and Elliot's yelling at
because
Joe,
yeah,
because
he was
Joe,
like, you were using at the he was like you were using at the family dinner for my
my
grandchildren for.
grandkids were in the other room.
I know because
Like,
he did it that parent that you're
and then,
yeah,
he tries to leave, and then Randall's like, don't run away. And then he's like, well, that's Stabler MO, isn't it? What is the case? And he
it's
leaves. And
whatever.
Randall looks at Elliot and he's like, could have been worse, which is
And then
true.
Joey starts punching the door and then he leaves.
Yeah, and he said, could have been worse. And it's like, which is true, because
He could have fist fought each other.
more than the door could have been punched.
He did punch the door and then he left.
I said more than the door.
Yeah, they could
Well,
have punched
here's
each
where
other.
things
They did.
start to get a little
Concerning. You're like,
concerning. Joe immediately makes a beeline and runs to Bernie's place.
mm,
And Bernie is so happy to see him. But you can tell he's not good.
not good. Yeah,
He's
either
not.
he's done it already or he's withdrawn from the
Yeah.
stuff. You can't. It's not clear. He just shows up and he's like wild.
He's like, Mom, I need to make this quick. I need
Need some
my
money and then where's
where's
your
my
rainy
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 day
day fund?
stash? And Bernie's like, but I just got you back. And she's like, where's my rainy day stash? He's like, oh, I have. She's like, I have it. It's in the drawer. He goes to open the door. Nothing there.
It's
He's like,
not good.
where is it? And then she's like,
He starts getting really
oh,
loud.
yeah, he's getting
And,
really loud. He's like, oh,
and she's like,
and he's like, oh, right. I forgot. I spent it. Um,
you got a PlayStation
he
for
bought a PlayStation for Marines boys.
yes. So now they
And now he's like, I need that money, damn it. He's basically yelling, and Bernie is getting very,
she's kind of getting a
she's
little crazy.
closing up. And he takes the baseball, the signed baseball that they were all
Yeah,
talking about last episode. He
yeah.
takes it and starts to leave. And like, starts yelling again. And Bernie at one point is like, no, stop, just leave me alone. And then closes herself in her room. And it's like,
Mm.
no, you made Bernie cry.
Like, how dare you?
No, this is where I draw the line. And this is where the other two are certainly going to get pissed off.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah, so then we have Elliot open up a storage unit and he starts going down memory lane and he's looking at all this stuff
He
from when
opens up his box. And
he looks at this medal he got and he looks at the picture and he brings it back to the guy and he's like, that's me and that's your dad.
mm-hmm,
And he gave the guy a picture that he had
mm-hmm,
of his father. And he's like, look, I can tell you're not just here for the group. What are you here for?
mm-hmm.
He kind of mentions that he's looking for the illicit substances. And the guy's pretty much like, look, there's so much pain in what these people are going through. This I need to help. And this is quite literally like the one thing that can help them sometimes through this
Mm-hmm.
considerable amount of pain. Is it the best
Mm-hmm.
idea? No.
No,
But
that's what makes it worse
that
for
or they
them,
suffer.
which is mhm.
Um, then we get, another wardrobe change. Jet's wearing this like black and white pinstripe shirt. Yes, cute, cool. We find out about this guy. Um, that's running like a bee farm, and it's
Mm-hmm.
basically
Well, we'll get to
the
the fight also the same.
cover for the cover for
It
the
was the substance
illicit
distribution.
substance trafficking
Distribution of this substance. But you know, they
distribution.
covering it which is rather
Um,
creative, I guess, on their part.
oh, Elliot again continues his um undercover, and he goes down to the farm with the guy from the group, and he introduces him to, basically it's like her mom, like the mom and the dad of the group. And he introduces himself as like Henry, and he's like, I'm here to work. His voice gets a little southern for a second, and I'm like, oh boy, where are we going? But it's basically just like, cordial military talk.
Mm.
So we find out the guy that like the and he goes to the bar, legit goes to walk behind somebody, accidentally bumps them, makes them
Get
miss
them about
their
to get a fight.
shot. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He's like, "Well, you owe me $20." He's like, "I don't got." Elliot's like, "I don't have any cash on me." And legit bar fight immediately. Elliot has not
Mm-hmm.
even been there for more than 10 minutes. And they're about to get down when the main guy walks in. We find out his name is Angus Boone. He's runs this bee and honey business. And he was basically, his family have been patriots since deep back in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Like, this goes that far.
Mm.
Um, Elliot convinces him to let him join if he wants to help. Angus lets him in. They have this girl. Her name is
It was the
Trish.
second name. When I watched it again, it was Brighton. It was
Trish.
Trisha.
And shows him where, like, where the barracks are. They're gonna, like, basically where he's gonna stay, where the beds are. They got curfew and everything. He's like, thanks. And she's
There's
like, we're
very
not
strict
friends.
rules.
She's
Yeah,
like,
no cell phones.
yeah,
You can't be yelling at your door. He's
shit,
like,
it's a lot. And she's like, we're not friends, bro.
where?
Then we got to see, and I was like, ooh, that looks good. And she's like, well, problem is, if he can't have his phone, we're not gonna be able
How are
to
we gonna
get
talk to
information from him.
him?
So
Get an
we need him
idea.
out, but we need to get in first. So road trip. Belle sends people.
Sends players.
Although my first freaking thought for Trisha when I saw her, I was like, oh, please let her be a love interest for Jet.
But
Please, please,
with
give it
the
to
way
me.
this is
Give
going,
it to
might be
me. Like, a bad guy could also mean a female criminal.
it
Just
could be. I don't know if we want this to. Who knows what's gonna turn out next?
yeah. So they did have the bar from Chris's birthday video. Also, that's where the bar was. They're all legit in farm gear.
Mhm.
Like, it's funny. Like, they're all legit just in like overalls and white Henley t-shirts and farm gear, and it's hilarious.
Mhm.
It's such a contrast from what they usually wear.
They're city folk, they have to go.
Problem
Well, we
is,
we will be back. Don't start it because I have to leave. So we will be back a little later tonight to finish this. So don't
oh,
start any thoughts yet.
okay. We'll be
It's
back
really
then.
gonna be like I'll be back in like an hour, like hour 15 maybe. So we will be back. I have to go to class, but it's presentations and I have to present. So
Good luck.
thanks.
Everybody tell Terryn good luck
By the
virtually.
time you watch this, I've already done it. So
Okay, fine. I'll say it for everybody.
yeah, we're back. I had to
We're
go to
back.
class, but I have returned.
Yes. Applause. Terryn did it.
Okay,
Yay.
you did it.
Okay, where do we leave off?
Hold on, hold
Oh
on,
yeah.
hold on. I have the
Um,
wrong notes. I have the one we were writing. Okay, hold
so yeah, farm stuff. But the next big thing that we all need to notice is the squad is like, not the squad, I say squad for SVU, and then I say gang, the OC gang or OC
on.
squad for
Mm-hmm.
organized crime. Anyway, Bell, Rez, and Jack are in the bureau, and they're about to leave, and then all of a sudden they look in their camera and they see that
Mm.
Sam's wife, Stacy,
Yeah,
is at the front door.
yeah.
They have
And
like a
she's
ring.
supposed to be
They have like
on
a
bed rest.
Yeah, they have like a ring camera or whatever, and she like rushes in and she's like,
Yeah,
it's
she's
just
supposed to be on bed rest because of her pregnancy being
yeah.
high risk.
She's like,
So her showing
I
up
didn't
was
know
like,
who. Yes, that's like, oh boy. So she's like,
but as long as he's showing up,
I don't know how else to tell her to come to, but Sam's missing, and it's like he's what? Oh God.
you're like he's
Oh,
like,
oh no. So of course, they're all like shocked and immediately get to work. So much so that Belle even called his captain and they had like a momentary truce
mm,
of like, okay, we're gonna go find Sam now.
hmm.
Um,
They care about him. He's only been there that long, but they care
he
about
hasn't
him.
been there for a while, but they care about him, which is sweet. He's becoming their friend.
Hmm. But I always liked him. I thought he was
Yeah, we like him. Um, and I like, my first thought was, uh-oh. It was probably because he investigated the drugs.
cool. Hmm.
I said the word.
It's fine.
The illicit
You didn't say
subs
what. Well, you didn't say what they were, so
the illicit substances that Elliot found that he asked him to test.
Hmm.
And so, they go through security footage and everything. Oh wait. And they like find that Sam was meeting somebody.
Hmm.
And so they then need to go talk to him. And Reyes comes back from whatever. And Bella's like, Reyes, don't sit down. We're going to
Right go
she's just
now.
like, okay. So they go to find this guy. His name was Wardak. And um, you know, we get a chase scene in this show. And Belle and Reyes start chasing him, but Belle literally just coming back from recovery
Yeah,
is like,
you
literally
guys
just
got
signals him to keep going.
look at
And
that.
he's running through this like cafe, and it's literally like they're literally both Wardock and Reyes are running across these tables.
Yeah, he just
Tables. It was like, way to go, Rick.
he got
And till Reyes stops him, tackles him to the ground, arrests him, brings him in to custody. And they're like, what? Were you talking to Sam? And it was like something in regards, I don't remember what it was
I
about,
forgot to write it down, but it was like
but
he's kind of described like these. I thought I wrote it down. Yes, I did. About the guys like basically he like I saw him talking to these guys in their suits in this. He's like this like really like this vehicle was like decked out and everything. It was wild. Yeah.
yeah. And so
And
then
then he was like, and then they pulled him in, and then they drove away, and they're like,
yeah, and they look and they see this, they, I think they see footage of it.
yeah, they see footage of it.
They see footage of it and they see Sam talking to the guys, and then he gets in the car and
Yeah, they pull him into the car, and then they're like, oh,
Wardak is like, I don't know where he went with them. And it's like, great. Um, then so they got that. Then we go back to the bee farm.
mhm.
And oh, wait, hold on. Did I miss things? Oh, yeah, I missed a part. I got stuff stuck. So I got stuff mixed up. Before the chase scene, um, Randall went home
Mhm.
to check on Bernie and he sees that she's a mess.
Yeah,
And he's, what happened? And she's like, talking about how Joe was there and he was asking for money and I had
mm,
spent it. And then this is where it gets funny. And it's like, oh my gosh. She's like, he was my good son. And then he started spending time with you and Elliot.
you go, oh, Because they're not the good sons.
Like,
Only
damn,
Neil is.
damn, ouch. But also, one of them is better than the other. Okay.
You know,
And
yes.
Randall's literally just like, and then she continues and goes on and just like, what did you do to him?
Like, I didn't do anything.
Oh my God. And Bernie's like, Randall's like, we didn't do anything to him. This is him.
Exactly. We didn't do anything. Randall's like,
But,
I knew we didn't do
Bernie,
anything.
Bernie basically blames him.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I don't
feel so
wonder
bad
how this is,
because
that's going to continue on, but we haven't done. That's not
Randall,
even
being the oldest, is the one who faced literally everything from the dad,
he
but
got the brunt of
also
it.
is now experiencing everything from the mom. Cut
Mm-hmm.
him some slack.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a break. Okay, now we're back
We
to
see also there's another part with Scoops
oh,
with
after
Elliot
next
in the
that
bee suit.
Elliot is literally wearing a fucking beekeeper outfit. It's hilarious. I'm like,
And the guy's like,
not today. Fuck, he's because he's undercover and he's working on the farm. He's literally being a fucking beekeeper.
and the guy
Um,
tells him like,
and then he's like, the guy Angus is like, oh, so this is the guy who's gonna be helping you out. And he's like, who? He's like, oh, the guy that you were about to punch
man,
10 minutes ago.
that's good.
Great. And
And
he's
then the
like,
guy's like,
okay, name them so the stupid little jerks don't fly out and freeze to death.
yeah, because it's cold up there. You can't really raise bees in New York. It's cold.
But it's just literally
It's
like,
really funny how the guy said he's just like muttering under his breath. And,
also out of all the things that Elliot has had to wear undercover, this is
the
the most
beekeeper
hilarious.
suit is the most
They
unhinged.
literally, they literally put Chris in a fucking beekeeper outfit. You can't make this shit
Well,
up.
I guess
And
they were actual bees so for safety reasons. You don't want
true,
to get stung by the bees. That would not be
true. Okay,
fun.
so then he's like talking to the mom who's like the head of this thing, and
They have to call. Yeah, so then back to where we were.
back to where we were. Now that I've filled everything in after messing it up. So in order to clarify, it goes Sam is missing, Bernie and Randall conversation, Ellie as a beekeeper, chase scene, back to the farm.
Hmm.
Okay. I forget why he was apologizing.
Oh, the mom, the lady, they have to call her mama. For some reason, they have to call her mama. She didn't say why, but that was the rule. He had followed rule.
I wouldn't question it. This woman is
Oh,
kind of
and
terrifying.
when they showed up, okay, so like, so basically, like before Jen and Reyes show up, he's like, they're like
Wait,
setting the
we
stage.
didn't get
So
to
he's like
that.
having to unpack the car, unpack the truck is what Elliot is doing. And she was like, "You were late, and you need to." Some of the other stuff she's muttering. He's like, "I'm sorry, mom. Yes, mom. You need to put this right here." And you're like, "I'm sorry."
Legit, like the southern, like, I'm
Because he's like
sorry.
a Southern grandma, but not the nice kind of Southern grandma, the mean kind of Southern grandma that's gonna give you a spanking if you
Grandma.
misbehave.
Like, she's scary. Like, you don't want to
Yeah,
mess.
don't mess with her. Whoever she is, you probably don't want to mess with her.
Like, I have a
Well,
feeling she'd be the kind of southern grandma that would have a
shit,
GUN
probably,
under her pillow.
probably,
Uh,
probably.
so, to
It probably actually does, because
continue
this
with
whole
the
story
fact that Belle was like, okay, we can't talk to Elliot, then we're gonna
is
have to send you somebody in. So
provided.
out in comes this truck, and out walks Jet and Reyes in their gear.
Mhm.
Jet's wearing overalls and like these boots, and Reyes has got like this funky shirt on and jeans. And this whole scene literally
It's
just
really funny. If you have no,
it's
it's
so
so we can't show
funny.
you because of copyright claims. If you haven't watched it, you should.
Go watch it. But also, they are legit doing this while Elliot is unpacking the truck.
But he's confused. He doesn't know what's happening
He's like,
actually.
what are he's like
I
looking
know
and
these people, but I can't. I think I know these people. Why are they here?
why are they here? What is happening? So basically, it first starts with Jet and Reyes. Um, they're like fawning over the stand and they're like, oh baby, look at this. Pause. Why the fuck are we sending them undercover as a couple?
I guess
Didn't we
that's what
learn
they got.
from this?
They could have been besties, but whatever.
Didn't we learn from this?
Yeah, we should have learned from this. What are we
Belle
doing?
is
I
the
guess that's
one
all
who
we
was
got.
Belle was the one who was freaking concerned about Jet and Reyes in the first place, and now she's
Well,
sending them undercover as a couple again.
oh, hey, we made it work.
Also, the fact that how the fuck are they okay doing it? Like, I
I mean,
thought
you
we
have to do your job. I guess you have to do your job, and there's no one else that can do this job.
true.
If
We
two of
literally
them
don't
were,
have
because
anybody
Vargas
else.
does.
But
No one
also,
in Sam is
like,
gone. Vargas can't do it, so we got the two of them. You know, so
yeah, but it's also just like after all of the stuff that they went through during the like affair and realizing, oh
yeah.
God,
But you know, they're
not a
not
good
very good
idea.
at plot continuity either.
Yeah, then why did
So
they think this was a good idea?
it
Like,
wasn't a good one, but it
it was
happened
not.
nonetheless. And it's
I
very
mean,
funny.
we did great, but that was like my first thought. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't be sending them undercover as a couple
Mhm.
again. Like, we don't need.
Mhm.
I mean, it'd be interesting if freaking things start again, but we don't need things to start again.
No, we got like 3 episodes left. We'll
Yeah.
talk about organized crime as a whole at the end. We'll probably do it at the beginning, but
Anyway,
we'll
so
get
they're
there.
fighting over the stand, and then the mom was like, "Why are you here?" And she's like, literally the way that the contrast, the biggest contrast besides the way that Jet acts undercover
Mhm.
is that whenever Ainsley is doing a scene, Jet undercover, she raises Jet's the pitch of Jet's voice because usually Jet's pitch is like more slight lower, monotone, slower paced. When she's undercover, it is higher pitched, talks a lot faster, and it's almost like you can hear the like peppiness, and it's just
Mhm.
you can like tell the difference. And so Jet is like, "Oh, we run a vlog on
Mhm.
like sustainability and like farmers markets." I'm like, no, my God.
It was pretty. They're vloggers.
It's I was like, oh my God, they're fucking
Mhm.
undercover as vloggers.
Mhm.
Stop it. Cause I don't know, I probably have shared this headcanon with you, but like my headcanon is that Jet typically hates like basic influencers.
Mhm. You know,
Like the
probably.
the over the top peppy
Mhm.
influencers, she would like, hate them. And now she's pretending to be one, which is hysterical.
Mhm.
Um And so they're like, "Oh, we came to check out your stand and everything." And you just take a few pictures.
Mhm.
And then I don't know if Rick meant to, but when he's like, "Oh, and we're gonna try to see if we can sample your honey," his voice went southern,
Mhm.
and it was hysterical because you could like hear the southern twang,
Maybe.
but like, sir, you're gonna like get yourself thrown out of the southern state if you tried talking
Yeah. I
like
mean, people
that.
can tell. You live down here, you don't know Southern, fake Southern.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it worked for the bit, but
But if
like
you had actually been it, I'd been like, you were not.
no, you would no, sir, you're gonna get yourself kicked out of the farmers
Somewhere.
market.
Bro. We gotta keep going because we're hungry. We gotta.
And then so yeah, I grabbed the boots because I had like boots like the ones she was wearing.
Mhm.
Yes. Tan like cute little tan boots in her overalls. Anyway, and she has this like colorful bag, which at first when we saw the pictures in the promo, I was like, oh, that's because she's like prepared and put everything in her
I mean, she
bag.
was, but
I mean, yeah, but the reason that they use the bag is for different one than what we thought. She literally looks at Reyes and she's like, "Oh, hold my bag and take my picture."
mm,
And he's like, "Why can't I?" He's like, "Why can't I be in the picture?" And
obviously
she's
not.
like, "Oh, I'll take a selfie and then we'll do a few shots." And then something made her stop.
Yeah, I think
And
she sees Elliot
yeah,
actually.
I
When
think
she
it's that she sees Elliot
she's
and
like, oh,
she's
okay,
like
there he is.
trying not to, break the cover. So
Yeah,
she switches gears immediately and she's like, "Babe, we
we
forgot
got
the
the
sign."
sign.
And you can see Reyes is like,
What?
What?
He's like, "What she say me in the sign?
What sign? And he's like, she's like, the
The
sign,
sign."
the name of the stand. We have to go get it. And then Reyes is getting. He's like,
Oh,
hey, we literally have to drive such
back
and such
there to
distance
the sign.
back
The sign.
to get. She's like, and it's like this is where you get like a little bit of Jet in this, and she's like, I don't care if it's
And it's
dark.
dark.
We're getting
Let
that
me
picture,
get the
and you don't need to
sign.
listen to me.
Yeah, it's very clear that
I
dark
don't
and
care.
sign
We're
was
doing this.
important.
So once again, all the cute, but it's like once again all the funny undercover shit. She's like, I don't care if it's dark. We're getting that picture.
Yeah, push for the
Um,
sign.
so they get back in the truck and they leave.
But
And
Elliot understands that.
that's like, that's it. And then the Law and Order page put, and this is the picture of the what they're wearing, in their farm country gear. And they put someone gives Slootmakers and Reyes an award for that performance.
It's pretty funny. Elliot.
It's funny.
But Elliot gets the message. And he's like, the
Elliot
sign.
gets the
Okay. The
message.
sign. So he
Oh my
goes
God.
to the sign when it gets dark.
Yeah.
And Reyes is out. Reyes is there.
Oh.
Did you not get it?
I don't know. I
You
did
didn't
not.
get it, did you? She was saying the
I
sign
legit
and
thought she was
night.
talking about an actual sign,
No,
not.
what they did, they were at the sign. They went met Elliot met Reyes at a sign.
I know, but
So,
I thought you meant like they had to get like this, like the tiny little portable signs.
no, they had they were
I didn't know that when she was
no,
saw Elliot, she was using it as a code.
yeah, she was using it as a code for the sign.
Oh.
So he knew to go to the sign at night.
Okay, so once again proving our girl is a genius and able to quickly think on her feet, and then I'm oblivious as fuck.
I didn't get it. So
Yeah.
then basically Reyes says Ayana wants us to come home like now. Like not later, now. Because they're
I was
worried about
like,
Sam. They need him
but
to
now
come
that
to
you
Elliot.
say it, yeah, I'm surprised I didn't fucking understand that. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
it's
like,
basically so Jet was mentioning the sign to basically be like, hey, meet us here later at dark.
at
Got
the
it?
front.
Good.
So they got it. Yeah.
Um,
And then Reyes is
yeah,
basically
and
like,
now
Ayana
and
says you need to come
he says,
home
Ayana
because
wants you
Sam
back.
is missing. Because Sam is
Like
missing, you
Sam
need
is
to come
missing.
home.
This is all too much. It's you
Hmm.
need to come. And Elliot starts walking away, and he's like, "Well, you tell Sarge that you tried." And Reyes is like, "Stabler, don't do this to me.
Exactly, like, bro, we can't.
Like, come
You need
on,
to.
come. This is important. Come on." But also, like, do you want to be in the room when I have to tell Belle that we couldn't get you back? Because I sure as hell don't. I don't want to have to tell her.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, she's gonna be mad that you didn't come home.
So as Elliot is walking back, he gets caught by somebody who
Yeah.
was at the farm because the curfew and things, and he like tries to play it off as
I'll just go
sorry.
for a walk.
I just have to
And
take
they're
a
like,
walk. The
the
nightmares.
rules said don't be out after dark.
And he's like, well, the nightmares were bad and everything. And the guy's like, I don't care. Like you're breaking rules. Now I have to go tell. And
And he pulls
Elliot
it.
tries to
They're like, brush.
diffuse the situation, and then the guy pulls out a gun.
Yeah. And they're like, ooh.
Why is everybody fuck? I didn't think everyone was supposed to be armed here.
I don't know. I guess if you, there's no one knows the rules for real.
Like
But
Elliot doesn't have his.
well, Elliot just got here. You know, he's not yet. Yeah.
Um, and then they're
They're
fight. They're
fighting, and the
he's
gun goes off,
with a
and then
weapon, and then all of a sudden Elliot takes the guy and slams him on the
because the
ground,
gun goes off first, and then he slams him, and then the guy hit his head on a rock, and his head is bleeding.
and it's legit. And yeah, we see his head bleeding on the rock, and it's like,
Mm.
did you
We
not
just went through
learn
this like
the
5 episodes
last
ago.
time you slammed somebody's head on the ground?
They didn't even resolve that yet. They left that back there. Like, you gotta stop. You gotta
Dude, you
stop.
got suspended for that.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
there's a
stop doing that.
17-year-old in a coma.
Yeah,
Did you not learn your lesson?
probably not.
and they're doing it again. And you can like tell afterwards when he sees it, he's like, oh
Oh
shit,
shit. He's like, oh shit. He's like,
not again.
so then they take the guy back to the
Yeah, and then
place.
everybody comes out.
And they're like, what happened? And
What happened? He's like,
Elliot
oh,
says
he
that
tried to
this guy
shoot
was,
me. He tried
he's
to
like,
shoot me.
he tried to shoot me. And you're like,
And
because
they're like,
Elliot puts the
why are you?
suspicion on the other guy because he can obviously say it because he's a
Yeah,
conscious.
and
He's
then
not
they're
dead.
like,
He's unconscious though.
yeah, he's like, why are you walking? Well, whatever it is worked because now the group inside all talking like, no,
They think
he's
this
one
guy
of
is the
ours.
snitch, not Elliot. So you know,
Yeah, he's one of ours. He wouldn't do this. Oh, we don't know. And the mom's like, well, we want
he
him
just take
alive.
yeah, so take him to the
Tell
vet.
us,
So then they keep making pay after he's fine.
tell us what happened. But Elliot has earned their trust.
Yeah,
Um, and so you're like,
they're
okay,
like kid in the truck.
you're gonna get on this truck with this guy so you can go take care of something. I forget if
Yeah,
it was like a
there's like,
shipment or like moving thing.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
This is real sad.
this is the real bad shit. Elliot's on the
He
back of
gets
the
in the
truck
truck, in the back of the truck,
and
and
he sees like a
a,
blanket, like a lawn
yeah,
blanket thing, and he
yeah.
uses his foot to kick it up.
He moves the blank, moves the cloth a little bit.
And
He sees the top
he
of
sees,
Sam's head. You
yes,
know
he's
it's him because of the
scraggly.
curly hair. He has the
Yeah, he
curly
sees
hair,
curly hair
and it's his left
and the
hand. His
ring,
hand, he uses his left hand with his wedding ring. It's like
wedding ring,
he's like the so like you're
and
like
you see Elliot's face immediately go,
yeah. They like do a shot that like it like lifts back up so it's facing it and then
his
it's just him just
shocked face
staring off
as
like oh my
he's
god, and then
driving
the truck's just
away.
driving away. The truck just starts driving. You're like oh.
So, shit, we're doing this again.
We can't do this again. I said, we just did this. We can't do this
We
again.
literally just did this. None of them are okay still.
We're not doing this again. I was like,
Why are we doing this again? So yeah, and then Taryn was texting me, Taryn and I were texting, and she's like, "Oh, maybe everything's fine. Maybe he's just unconscious." Then the promo comes. And literally,
yeah,
the first line was,
he's he's
"He's
in a
killed," and it's like,
I
"Oh,
was busy, so I didn't like soak
again,
it in. But Elliot has to bury him in the promo. Hold on,
legit."
I gotta listen to it. It's called
Ellen,
well, the
she's
episode's
like,
called
"Yeah." So literally, the first line of the fucking promo is, one of my fellow detectives was killed, and I had to bury him." What the fuck?
yeah, I buried him. And they're worried about because they were still in. He's not supposed to be, not
As if
authorized to be
Elliot
covered.
doesn't, as if Elliot doesn't have enough freaking guilt and trauma
Yeah, he's buried.
because this is
Yeah,
technically his fault.
yeah. Stabler's still inside, and like the guys are suspicious. They found his police badge. Oh, that's what they
Yeah,
find his police badge, and then when the person has a woman has a gun at his face, and that's it.
Trisha, and she's like, "Are you a cop?"
Yeah.
But
So
here's the thing: that whatever happened to Sam, unfortunately, actually is Elliot's fault
yeah, it really is.
because if Elliot didn't ask him to test the
Yeah,
tinfoil with the illicit
yeah,
substance on it,
yeah.
the bee people wouldn't
Mhm.
have known
Who it was?
that their operation was being found out.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so Elliot's gonna feel traumatized because he's
again.
very guilty because, um, legit, this he's the reason this is happening. But also sad because they literally all just fucking went through this.
I want to do it again.
And literally, part of the promo was Belle crying in her car.
Yeah, my hand was it's sick. But we kind of already talked about it. The
And we
episode
already know,
next week is called.
we know Jet was considering him a friend.
Mhm.
Reyes is
He
kind of
spent as
warming,
much time, but pretty close. They were.
Reyes was kind of warming up to him. Um, Literally, we don't need to do this again. They
Oh,
literally just lost Jamie. Why are we losing Sam?
exactly. That's
Why, writers?
yeah.
Why?
But the episode is called Crossroads. It says the team works to take down a large-scale drug operation disguised as a local honey farm. In Stabler's absence, Randall searches for Joe Jr. on his own and ends up in a bind. So yeah, pretty tragic.
Yeah,
But
legit. Oh, and as if it wasn't already worse, his wife is pregnant.
very pregnant, very high risk. Like, and she's having a boy. If you didn't
Which,
realize,
yeah, both of us are like, okay, so she's probably going to name him after Sam, right?
yeah, cries.
But also now we have so Stacy, we're kind of assuming wasn't Muslim until she met Sam
Yeah,
and then like converted. So now you have a white woman who is converted to Muslim,
Islam.
Islam.
There
Thank
you
you. White woman who's converted to Islam. That's already kind of a really small minority in of itself that has a lot of issues that could happen.
go.
And is now going to have to raise two children on her own.
Hmm. Yeah, we kind of talked about how it was kind of
Why?
distasteful. It's a bit distasteful on their end to kill off a character because Muslim. Because I mean, a lot of shows don't have other kinds of characters who are of a different religion other than Christianity or no religion at all. So that was pretty messed up for them
Yeah.
to do that.
Like, we finally had some more representation, and then they
Yeah,
said no.
and they
But
so
also distasteful because they literally fucking killed somebody last season.
yes,
Also, on the topic of this episode, and it made me think that they had this veteran who was in a wheelchair with like a
hmm,
mobile device and a screen and everything. Gee, I don't know. You can do that. You
yeah,
can't
they
do
could
it
have,
with
they could
you
have,
can't do it with Jamie. I don't know. Make it make
they
sense.
could have, they did,
But also,
but
I think they kind of realized after everybody got really pissed off,
really
they're like,
pussy of them. They couldn't do that.
"Oh, we gotta fucking do our disability
Yeah, I
stuff
gotta fix
a
that
lot
because people are
better."
really upset about that. Can't be
It's
able.
not too late. You can
Yeah, it
say
really
it's
isn't.
witness protection. It's
Yeah, really.
not.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay, I
I
need
don't
to
know
see
if
that.
you can do that with Sam too, but if you can do it with one of them, I'll be eternally grateful.
Yeah. Well, so cameras and stuff.
What do we give
We
this
can know.
episode? And this new, because we're at a new
Four, three and a
already.
half, four. It was, yeah,
Yeah, so we're at the final arc
yeah,
of the
fine.
season. We
But
don't
yeah,
know
and
what's
we have
happening.
to, yeah, and as of today, which is April 15th, organized crime has not been renewed. But if there's like speculation that if it is renewed, it will be on Peacock. It wouldn't probably, season five will probably not
Which
air
makes
on
no
TV.
fucking sense. Like
It's,
legit for
it's a
three
lot
what
of, from
for
what I
three
understand about TV market, there's a lot of things that go into like both the cost of the show, which show a lot of shows lost money because of the strike. Um, the network itself deciding is this show worth us putting our money into? Um, there is are there enough people watching this show because OC's views only go down. They have never like they were good at the top, and when Mariska is there, it goes up some, and then after that, it kind of just slowly goes. So there's a
So in
lot of
other
like
words, even though it
factors.
might hurt both of us, they should put her in the last three episodes.
They probably won't because or I guess you probably has a good ending flow line, I think. But whatever they do, if they put Organized Crime on Peacock, it would be like how other streaming shows are, which is they like do all the episodes at one time, and you just get either they some shows depending on what kind of popular the show is, they will do weekly still, but other shows they'll just give you all of them at one time, and then just you watch them however you will, and they probably won't be as many. Most streaming shows do 8 to 12 episodes a season,
I
so
think this is a bad move for multiple reasons.
I mean,
One,
Organized Crime just isn't making the money they needed to.
yes, I understand that, but for the past what like 3 years or whatever, they've advertised Thursdays as Law and Order Thursdays every Thursday.
And so that too.
Well, how do we have Law and Order Thursday? Well,
It was
technically,
been it's been
not Law
organized.
and
It's
Order
been Law and
Thursdays.
Order Thursday for like years.
Exactly, but now we have it's like gonna be like Law and Order Thursdays, first two shows, and whatever the frick is taking this other slot if it happens. Like, it doesn't make sense. Also, if you put it on Peacock, how that doesn't guarantee people are going to get Peacock just to watch it.
Yeah, but they're not making
You
money anyway.
probably we will. We most certainly will.
Yeah, it just kind of
But
depends on like how much if they can improve ratings or make more money between now and May, because it's
like
you know
I just need everything to stay how it is to for my own sanity. Just say.
TV business is business.
I know, but I need to prioritize my own sanity. So
We'll
please
see what happens.
keep as
But
is.
as of today, we don't really know still. So
Bill.
because they
Anyway,
were supposed to, because last this season was supposed to when they brought her come back, it was supposed to come back in January anyway. So I
yeah, we
think
already
that
know it
was
was supposed to be 13
it
episodes.
was going to be their test run. I'm pretty certain it was going to be their test season to be like, can we boost back up enough to for the network to be happy?
Here's my thing. I don't think they need to go back to the full format.
They should
I
have
feel
done
like this a lot from what I've seen, like people talking about it. This 13 episode format has been working pretty well, not only for the cast members, but for the show itself. It seems to a lot of these episodes have been like more top tier than anything, I
it
think.
had been better, but they're not they're better than they have been.
Yeah.
There's a bit more
Season three is
quality
season
involved.
3 is still on top. No,
Season three is definitely better, but it's there's some of them are better and some of them like yeah.
yeah. But
And but you can
anyway,
win TV
what,
business
what did you say you were giving this episode? Because I just forgot.
3.5, 4. It's okay. It has
Yeah.
some good moments, but it's
Yes.
yeah. And the
Next week
problem
will
that
be
yeah, like we said,
interesting.
the reason why it doesn't really work as well as it should is because they immediately made too much about Stapler. If they had balanced it out, they would have maybe because a lot of people are like, I don't want to watch Stapler, so I'm not gonna watch the show. So that kind of like
Fair enough. We
it
understand.
shortchanged everyone else on the show. So when it came to like when they still keep doing it, it would have been different. They'd been like, okay, let's try to rewrite when they came back in the next season after the first one. They could have been like, okay, let's rebalance it out and see what happens. But then they never did. So like now we're at like most of the B plot is Stabler. There is no like anyone else. These like
Yeah.
random blips of everyone else. Then like so
Yeah. I will, okay, in order to kind of end this part on a happy note, Danielle put at the end of the episode, tweeting with y'all and reading your tweets is truly a highlight of my week. Y'all are hilarious and so invested, and that makes us happy. Danielle loves us, and we love Danielle.
mm-hmm. So I think that's all we got.
Yeah, no, I'm like trying to think, was there anything else we did?
We should eat. That's what I'm saying. You got anything else?
Oh, I mean, Chris's birthday was April 2nd. We talked about.
Yeah, I think we put that in. No, we didn't record last week. There was an episode. That was an episode in a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago,
so
I think.
Chris's birthday was April 2nd.
We recorded right before that, I think. Was the last
And
time we
he
did it.
literally got like cake in a bar, the
Yeah.
bar where they
Yeah.
filmed the
It made
bus.
sense why there was no other cast members there because they were filming at the bar. But
So legit, they filmed this
there was an eclipse. There was
2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, the
yeah.
eclipse. That
Yeah.
was cool.
Hopefully you didn't look into the sun. You know, don't do that. Okay. I don't know. I decided to be
He
funny.
had those glasses, and
Hopefully you were safe
like it was fun because I think they said something along the lines of like they were on set when they were doing it, so
and
like
everyone
some of
stopped
them
with
were
the
like
eclipse.
stopping
Hopefully you all were safe.
while they're
Hopefully
filming.
you all have fun.
Yes.
That's all the much to talk about. There will be ooh. There's a no, there's one next week, and then there's a skip, and then there's the last three. So,
You mean the last two?
oh, you're right. I can't count. Sorry, the last two. Sorry, dude, this
So
is 10.
so
No,
this
that's three.
week
So this is 10, and then 11,
skip.
12, 13. 11,
Um,
12, 13.
does that mean we gotta wait even longer for Kelly?
Yeah, and then
I
a skip week. But that's what we got.
I'm
Even
trying
in
to
this,
think. I feel like there was something else I need to
I don't
mention.
know. We've been here for 2 years. We've been doing this thing 2 years.
Yes, we've been doing this forever.
Yep.
It
I,
feels like
I wish you. I wish like the first like season of the podcast. There's no visual aid. I would love to see what we looked like 2 years ago, but we can't because there's no. vision. There's no video to the first like
What?
season of the podcast. The first season of the podcast has no video. We didn't start that till later. So
Oh yeah.
the first episodes were something because we didn't know what we were doing. We were playing around. Then we figured it out. This is our little format.
I guess on the other note, rules
Oh
show
yeah,
things are
yeah,
starting,
yeah, yeah,
and there's clips and pictures
yeah. So
everywhere.
go check those out wherever you want.
Look, gonna, I fucking almost cried.
What a beautiful.
I got very teary-eyed. Like,
Okay.
something about the song that he's singing just gets you right in the heart.
He just sings good. But go check that out.
Legit, dude. Like, dude is in his 50s, and like his voice literally sounds
So good.
still fucking golden.
Mm-hmm. So do that. I'm
So
almost done with college. I'll be done with school in
Terrence graduating, y'all.
May 4th. So
Um, yeah. So once again, continuing on my point of, oh, and he was in fucking New York.
what?
So
Some people, who
fingers
knows? Make fingers
crossed.
crossed. It
Who
might be.
knows?
We're just hoping, you know.
Like legit, he literally just had New York sighting. Fingers crossed. Okay, so we got that. Ainsley did a show over the summer. Can we fucking get my musical episode, please? Please. Please.
What? No one likes that. Alexa
Again,
Marie likes.
not asking.
But that's all we got. Because we have a
It's
minute and a half to say anything
order
else.
this time.
We did. I'm gonna make it one episode, y'all. It's gonna be one big episode because I usually do Monday, Wednesday when I do split it into two, but it already is Monday, so you're gonna get one big one. So thank you all for listening.
I feel like I have like freaking daggers. You said
Uh,
that Jet would like these because they're like
nothing because
uh,
I cut
they're
mine off.
pretty though. They're
I had to
painted.
redo them though. I had to redo them though because I didn't have top coat for the top part is correct.
So
But
yeah, I call these my daggers.
so I'm gonna redo mine and stuff.
They're
But
fun.
yeah, that's all we got. So we thank you all. Really, I have to wrap say thank you all for listening. Thank thank you all for supporting the show for 2 years. Don't
Love
forget the
you.
link in the
Thank
description
you.
if you'd like to make a donation or support us. The link in the description. We love you all. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
It's been 2 years and it's gonna be many more.
Yes. Until there's no law and order. There's no so long that is.
Don't say that.
Okay. There could be a long time from now.
Hey, Marishka's gonna keep going until
Till
somebody
they
tells
tell
her
her she
to
can't.
stop.
She can't. She was too old
And even
to be able.
still won't.
Yeah.
So
Yes. We'll be here a long time, y'all.
yeah.
Goodbye. Thanks for all the laughs and love. And we'll
Uh,
see you all next time. Goodbye. The Zoom hasn't exploded yet, but soon. Soon,
bye.
because I'm hungry. I'm gonna make some bagel bites.
I gotta go eat
Eat.
too. Bye. Love you
Bye.
all.
Love you all. Goodbye.